Take your pancakes out. It's Saturday morning.
What? Nobody ever takes pancakes out of what?
Take your pancakes out.
It's Saturday morning. Welcome to Reddit stories. I don't know. I'm thinking about like a funny.
Where are they taking them out from?
The cupboards?
They don't cook pancakes in the oven.
Several months later.
Okay, before we begin this, we have a fun surprise for both of you. We've talked about this all year, but it's time to actually do it.
What?
Guys, it's time to get our pancakes out. It's time for our final Reddit story of 2024. Get the pancakes out.
It's Saturday morning! What? They're huge! They're warm. Oh, they're warm.
I have to read, unfortunately, but here, we can just set them here for decorative effect.
Oh my God, this is beautiful.
Wait, look. Look how warm. This looks like a fake pancake.
Thanks, guys.
These look so good.
Oh, that smells amazing. I love pancakes with strawberries on them.
It's Saturday morning. Get your pancakes out.
Oh my God, it's Saturday morning. Get your pancakes out. I was like, wait. I like forgot that reference. So when Shane said that, I was like, are you talking about my flat ass? Get my pancakes out.
Watching my housemate die inside. This happened in my second year of university in the UK circa 1998. 6 of us shared a house with an even split of boys and girls. John was my best mate and was very shy and had no confidence with girls. He got on really well with the girls we lived with, Sarah in particular. When we moved in, Sarah had a boyfriend who thankfully after a few months she broke up as he was a After this, Sarah and John grew closer and she would quite often sit and cuddle with him while watching TV, dance with him when we were out, and generally spent a lot of time with him. John was clueless about women and thought they were just besties, but it was clear to everyone that they were into each other. The important point to this story is John was still a virgin. Our other male housemate, Steve, was the opposite of John. He was a player. He had a girlfriend from school who was a few hours away at another university, so he'd regularly sleep with anyone that would have him. He also had a crush on Sarah and tried it on with her a few times and got rejected. Steve used to take the mickey out of John for being a virgin. This different terminology is so funny.
Take the mickey out on him.
Steve used to take the mickey out of John for being a virgin.
Get on.
So
I think he's
clearly
he's making fun of John for being a virgin.
Sure.
Okay.
That's universal in every language.
A note from our producer: take the mickey out is apparently similar to taking the piss out of.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
At first, it was every so often, and then when John and Sarah were getting closer, he started to call him Virgin Boy in an attempt to belittle him. The rest of us told him to knock it off, but he persisted for a few weeks. Not long after, we'd got back from Christmas break, a few of us were in the living room after university, and Steve walked in and asked me and Virgin Boy if we'd like to order pizza for dinner. Sarah walked in from the kitchen and at that point walked over to John, sat on his knee, kissed him, looked over at Steve and said, "You can't call him that anymore. We had a great time this morning and he made me several times. I doubt you've ever managed that with your tiny cock." The rest of us,
said that?
Sarah said that. The rest of us sat there trying to stifle laughter. Steve went bright red, mumbled something and went to his room. Turned out Sarah had made a move on John that morning. They both admitted to being into each other and had slept together. Sarah snapped when she heard Virgin Boy and decided she'd had enough of Steve.
Wow.
John and Sarah are still together, married with 3 kids.
Shut up!
Damn.
Wait, can you read what she said to him again?
She said...
And say it like her.
Yeah.
Okay. So she walks out after, because Steve tries to
take the mickey out on him.
Yeah, Steve tries to take the mickey out of John here, calls him Virgin Boy. Sarah walks out and she goes, "You can't call him that anymore. We had a great time this morning and he made me several times. I doubt you've ever managed that with your tiny cock."
Oh my God, that really went so hard.
That's devastating. Dude, I mean, after that, John has to marry her.
Oh, yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Oh, yeah.
Move on?
Do you think he made her come multiple times with his first time having sex?
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Of course.
I don't know. I just think like I think it's like what else? I think she really, really liked him. At the very least, regardless of what actually happened, I think she was just like, I'm willing to go to bat for this dude.
No, I love that so much.
It's fucking awesome.
That's great.
Joke's on you, I made a move on him this morning.
Which is also kind of devastating because like that's crazy. Like he was into Sarah, and for Sarah to be like, I'm
into him.
I made the move. Like
No,
that hurts a
deserved
lot.
that. He deserved that. Like he was being insecure, and he was like, oh, I can't get with this girl who I've been rejecting, or who has rejected me. Let me make fun of somebody who she is clearly into. And then he deserved all the revenge.
Well, mind you, Steve has a girlfriend at another university, so he's just cheating on her all the time.
Steve.
They said that. They said at the beginning, Steve was the opposite of John. He was a player. He had a girlfriend from school who was a few hours away at another university, so he'd regularly sleep with anyone that would have him. And he had a crush on Sarah and tried it on with her a few times and got rejected.
Oh.
So he's just a huge piece of shit.
Oh, yeah. No, trash.
Trash.
It's crazy.
Oh my God.
Good, he deserved that.
That's like a movie level, like, and I mean, John didn't get revenge, but like Sarah got revenge for him.
Oh, but John
He made me
got
multiple
revenge.
times.
Oh my
John
God.
got revenge.
John got revenge by
Multiple
just being a
times.
good guy.
If I was John and she said that, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, you heard what she said.
And then Sarah would be like, never mind.
Oh.
Like, 3 times.
I take back my orgasms.
Shit.
It didn't happen.
That never happened.
I take those back.
Oh my
Damn.
gosh, that's wild.
That's awesome.
That's fucking sick.
Wow.
Some comments. I was so scared that Steve would steal Sarah from John and make fun of him afterwards.
Yeah.
Glad I was wrong, and Sarah sounds like an awesome mate. Lucky for them to have found each other and such a wholesome ending. Someone said, John, in this case. Someone said,
John did nothing to you.
John got
but he got
He got
multiple times.
Someone said, the pettiest revenge is a life well lived. Damn, that's even, unless Steve changed his ways and became a better person, you know, he's probably, to then see like, oh, and then he's married and like happy, 3 kids.
Yeah.
Like really, damn.
Yeah.
I hope Steve reaches out with an update on his own life.
Sarah's actually the hero of this.
We know Sarah's great.
I love Sarah. I don't love body shaming, but it was funny.
Oh yeah, she did say he is a tiny. She didn't necessarily need,
She did say he had a tiny.
she didn't need that part.
But it was like an icing on the cake. It was
That's
just like
not
a fuck
I
you.
can tell you as a dude, that's not the part that bothered Steve. That's not the part at all.
Okay.
Like, I don't think so. It also sounds like she rejected him. I don't think they ever actually.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I think what hurt her, what hurt him was just like, holy shit, like John.
Yeah.
Like the girl that I have a crush on approached him, had sex with him, and like,
publicly
and is also now like standing up for him here,
Exactly.
like really cares about
Yeah.
him, like on a level beyond just sexual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which dudes will never say that matters to them.
Yeah.
But it does.
Oh.
I think,
made
like
me
that hurts.
3
Like
times.
deep down, like that's deep down in his core where he doesn't even realize it hurts him.
Whoa.
Yeah.
His heart hurts.
Like he hurts that like Sarah chose John.
That there's like real care there.
Wow.
But he's not going to get that because he's being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right. But hopefully this is the moment when he
Yeah.
wakes
Hopefully
up.
his girlfriend.
Imagine-
Someone needs to tell his girlfriend that he's cheating on
Yeah.
her.
Imagine.
yeah, I hope she knows
Imagine being
now.
the other roommates being like, roommate meeting. We got to clean the kitchen more.
Yeah, right. There was a 4th roommate just eating
Yeah.
cereal at that table. Like, damn.
Like.
Am I the asshole for trying to reconnect with my childhood best friend?
Did you? Is this you? Did you do this? Okay, let's see. I'm gonna get some context.
I don't know how
clues.
you'd be an asshole for that, but I guess we're about to find out.
Yeah.
All right.
True.
So this is a 26-year-old woman. I am marrying the love of my life, and we've begun wedding preparations. While making the list, I reminisced over my childhood best friends, specifically my old best friend, Mona, who's also a 26-year-old woman, and decided that I'd like her to attend. To explain, Mona and I were best friends growing up. We shared the same childhood friends despite me living out of the city for most of the year with my father and only being in the same state for a few months of the summer. We had a falling out partway through high school and she ceased to talk to me. I told my fiance that I wanted to reconnect with Mona, so I reached out to our mutual childhood friends and asked if they still kept in touch. One of them did and gave me her number. I texted and said I was in town and wanted to meet up to catch up and talk. Fast forward a few days, Mona's come to meet my fiance and I at a local shop for coffee, and I introduced them and told her that I'd like her to attend my wedding. She stared at me and said that she wasn't expecting my wedding to be the topic of catching up. She coldly said that she thought I had reached out to apologize about what happened when we were younger. I was confused. She callously said, in front of my fiance, that she stopped talking to me and cut contact with me because of what happened with her boyfriend when we were in high school. My fiance asked what happened, and she told him that I kissed her high school boyfriend during a summer that I was in the state and stole him from her, leading her boyfriend to dump her over text. She went on to say that if I didn't have an apology, she wasn't interested in speaking with me. She excused herself and paid for her meal. When we got home, I was fuming that Mona was still upset by something that I couldn't even remember and that she misconstrued. My fiance told me that I didn't mention this stealing boyfriend thing and asked if I ever apologized for it. I admitted that at the time I didn't, but I didn't think it was that big of a deal. We were kids. It was a high school relationship. They were only dating for 8 months, and he made the first move. My fiance told me I was the asshole. I think otherwise because it was literally a blip of time so long ago, and I assumed Mona would have understood my side. It was over 10 years ago. We were 15. Am I the asshole? Yeah.
I like how she's like, just get over it.
Yeah.
It was only 240 days of your life with this person.
Yeah. It was nothing. That was some quick math. I feel like it's not that big of a deal to just apologize at that point.
Yeah.
No, go for it.
It sounds like she just doesn't want to apologize now. She's like, hey, it wasn't that big of a deal, but yet if it's not that big of a deal, then why can't she apologize?
That's my thinking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's also just kind of weird that, like, she doesn't, like, she's like, it's not a big deal. We were so young. Like, that somehow negates the fact that it does sound like she stole that person's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't even remember it. Like, for you, this was a big day of your life, but for me, it was Tuesday.
It's also specifically, they stopped being friends because of this incident.
Yeah.
This was the last time they talked.
Why doesn't she realize that? Why doesn't she connect those dots?
I feel like because that's the simple thing of coming back and be like, hey, I know we ended on weird terms, and I'm so sorry about that, but we're different people now.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see what our friendship could be now. I feel like that's your easy in.
And that's simple. How long would that have taken? 20 seconds?
I was just like, yeah.
And she's also like, she misconstrued this thing that I don't even remember at all. So how could you know that she misconstrued it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I don't remember this thing that you're getting completely wrong about.
Yeah.
It also feels like she's kind of not really caring about this friend and more like wanting the nostalgia factor for her wedding, maybe? Like,
It's like what her friend represents to her.
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, memories. I want to have those at my wedding. I'll throw
Yeah.
those in there.
Yeah, like
without
you're,
actually
like
considering.
you're a freaking prop.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, just like a little collectible.
Yeah. When we reconnected, I should not have bothered, communicating or apologizing for any of our history, and I should just
No.
get over it.
Yeah, get over it. It was, look, yeah, we worked together for 12 years. Who cares? Yeah, get over it.
There's some comments here.
Okay.
It was over a decade ago, and also it was her who was hurt, not me. So surely she must be over it by now. That's someone doing quotes.
Okay,
That's what
yeah.
she's saying. Someone says, still upset by something I couldn't even remember, and that she misconstrued. Girl, pick a side because that just gave me whiplash. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As you pointed out.
Yeah.
I feel like that happens a lot in these Am I the Asshole stories. They trip up over their own words, and they'll.
Because they're not telling the truth.
Yeah,
They're not being completely.
She either does remember it. She probably does remember it.
Oh,
though,
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, they're just not being reliable narrators.
She literally knew that they were dating for 8 months, that he made the first move, all of these. She remembered all these specific details.
Yeah.
She vividly remembers this.
Yeah.
I think she also saw this as an opportunity to just kind of like let this guilt float away and be like, yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't matter, right?
Yeah,
Well, even posting it was her trying to get other people to be on her side about it,
Right.
so she didn't feel anything.
Exactly.
she's just not
Think about
accepting responsibility.
Did she do any follow up or anything?
No follow-up on that
She was
one.
like, did not get the
No.
the support that I needed. Going
No, I
somewhere
think
else.
the verdict was asshole, so I think she left. I think she was done. And that got cross-posted on Am I the Devil, which is where the worst Am I the Asshole stories go.
I wouldn't qualify it as the worst. Not anywhere near.
Just ones where they're clearly the person posting is
The asshole.
clearly the asshole.
Yeah.
Here's our next story. This is from 2016. This is a little old school.
I was in high school.
Well,
That makes me sick.
here we go. It's a 29-year-old woman. My boyfriend, who's 32, gave away my Hamilton tickets. Am I being selfish for just wanting to break up over this?
What?
Based on that title alone, what do you think?
So he gave away the Hamilton tickets?
He gave away Hamilton tickets.
Okay, it better have been for a lot of money.
Throw away because while I'm fairly sure he or his family doesn't Reddit, I would rather be safe than sorry. Backstory, my mom is genuinely one of the funniest, kindest, sweetest people I've ever met, and I'm genuinely lucky to have been her daughter. She had me fairly young, raised me by herself, and while we were pretty poor growing up, she did her damnedest to make sure that I got a good education and had everything I needed as a kid. One of the things we share is a love of the theater. She would save up and take me to all the musicals that stopped on tour in our town, and while we were always in the cheap seats, it was always something we both greatly looked forward to. These memories of going to the theater with my mom are very precious to me and are one of the main factors in why I work in the entertainment industry today. Corporate side, I have a horrendous singing voice, LOL. Fast forward to today. Like most theater nerds, my mom and I are basically obsessed with Hamilton. And for those of you who aren't really familiar with it, this show is basically impossible to get tickets for at this point, unless you want to see it in January of next year. I'm lucky enough to be in a financial position with my job that I could afford tickets for a show in July for me and my mom. These are amazing seats, 5th row center. And through some type of divine intervention, I managed to snag tickets for the night of Lin-Manuel Miranda's final performance. I surprised my mom with these tickets back in December. I bought them in October, I think, for Christmas. I'm making a whole week of it. I put us up in a really nice hotel. I made reservations at a bunch of restaurants that we both want to try, and we're going to do a bunch of touristy shit in general. Plus try to see if we can fit in at least one other show before we leave. We're both incredibly excited for this. My mom even has a little Hamilton countdown that she's doing on a mini chalkboard she uses as a planner. She sends me pics every day when she changes it. It's cute. In January, I began dating this guy that I'll refer to as Josh. We were casual / not exclusive for a while, but became serious within the last 2 months. He also works in the corporate side of entertainment, but at a different agency than I do. He also has a higher position than me and makes a lot more money than I do. This becomes important. We met at an industry event and we hit it off instantly. I thought I could get really serious about this guy, and up to this point, there have been no red flags that I've seen. Although right now, I'm sifting through all of my memories to see if there's something I missed. He also comes from a much wealthier family than I do. Josh has a younger sister that I'll call Jennifer, who's 17, that's kind of going through a big troubled teen phase. She cuts class, smokes, and is really disrespectful to her parents. I've only met her once, but as far as I know, she's not doing anything too bad. She's just kind of a sad kid and could really benefit from some therapy. I floated this by Josh, but he said his parents are kind of disdainful of therapy in general. Josh says they can't reach out to her no matter what they do, and they've tried everything, except trying to get her to a counselor, but whatever. Actual problem time. Sunday night, I was at my place with Josh. We were drinking wine and cuddling while watching the Tonys, Theater Awards show in parenthesis.
Oh.
Got it. I didn't know.
Gotcha. Didn't know that one.
My mom was texting me during the Hamilton performance and geeking out about how excited she was. I laughed and showed my mom's text to Josh because I thought it was so adorable. And he didn't say anything off, but he was acting kind of strange after. He asked me what date the show we were going to was. I told him, and then he went into the other room to take a phone call. I thought nothing of it because we both have to take random phone calls like that for our jobs all the time, and he's going through some kind of tough time at his. He was in an unusually good mood afterwards and said he had to go home early because he had to sign some forms at the office early tomorrow, before we met up to go get brunch with his parents later that day. Again, nothing too unusual and pretty common with the both of us. He picks me up at work for brunch with his parents, and again, he's in an unusually good mood. I ask what's up, and he says vaguely that things are going well at the office, and this deal he's trying to make is finally going through. I don't really press for info because we both try to avoid work topics, partially due to work shit being fairly banal, and partially because we both have to sign some pretty gnarly NDAs a lot of the time. And this is only my second time meeting his parents, so I'm still a bit nervous about brunch. We get to the brunch place, and the first thing his mom does when she sees me is gives me a huge warm hug and profoundly thanks me for my kindness. Her dad also gives me a huge handshake and thanks me for helping out with Jen. I'm kind of what the f***ing because I have no clue what they're talking about. I ask what she means and she says, for giving her the Hamilton tickets. I turn around to Josh and he just has this big grin on his face. But Reddit, that time my boyfriend was away talking on the phone for business, he was actually on the phone with Jen promising that I would give her my Hamilton tickets. I was so thrown off by this that I, kind of not very tactfully, I admit, say how I had no clue about this. Josh looks pissed, and his parents are equally thrown off. But instead of getting mad at Josh, his mom just says, well, you can still give them to her though, right? And they all look at me like I'm supposed to just agree with this. I try to explain that the trip is actually for me and my mom, and how important this is to my mom. All three of them start going on about how Jen is super excited about this, and that this is the first time that she's not been mad/expressed happiness to them in a while. And that's how the next half hour goes, basically, until the parents leave, mad, and the dad calls me a selfish cow. I'm so flabbergasted that I just sort of put up with it, but I could barely get in a word. Josh and I go outside the brunch place, and he starts screaming at me about my selfishness and how Jen is going through a much harder time than they thought. He wasn't clear on this, so I'm not quite sure what he meant, and that I'm being childish because it's just a musical. I hate having arguments in public. Also, this is one of my favorite brunch spots, and I wanted to be able to come back without being embarrassed, so I wasn't really engaging. He eventually called me a cunt, what the f***, and then left in his car, which is awkward as hell because it was a valet parking, so he was just kind of stewing by the valet stand while I was waiting for my Uber. Later that night, I texted him saying while I wasn't giving up my tickets, there are still some available on that date. However, they cost about $2,500 due to ticket scalpers jacking up the price. Believe me, this is not a problem for either the parents or my boyfriend. He literally bought a $3,000 watch for funsies last week. The only response I got was that was an exorbitant fee. I agree, but not the point. He refuses to pay, and he didn't understand why I couldn't just give the tickets to Jen. I also got texts from both his parents pleading with me to get the tickets, and also they forwarded an email to me that Jen sent to Josh and her parents, thanking them for the surprise. Apparently, she's also obsessed with Hamilton, and this is making her year. Also, we live in LA. Do they also expect me to give up my plane ticket/hotel? What the f*** was their game plan here? Look, I completely understand wanting to help out with Jen, and I feel really bad that apparently her family is filled with weirdos, but this has been all so baffling, and the entitled behavior they displayed is a massive turnoff. I'm not giving up these tickets. Is this selfish? But I also kind of want to cut my losses here. The attitude Josh displayed towards me outside of the brunch place was very unpleasant to say the least, and he knows how disrespectful I find being called a so I'm half of a mind to just break up with him. He knew I had these tickets for a while, and I don't get why he decided to do this now at all. But should I contact Jen and explain at all? I just saw that she made a really excited post on Facebook about it. I'm not friends with her, but I am friends with my boyfriend, and he liked her post. I would straight up buy the ticket for her, but frankly, I can't afford those prices because I'm saving up for the New York City trip for my mom. How do I move forward? Oh my God.
She should kill him.
Break up with that mother.
I was reading it, I was like, you know what? Maybe he should die.
Maybe dump him and then dump his body. Like actually murder this man.
That is wild.
Yes.
Everything inside me was shutting down.
No, I'm gagged.
My system was like, vroom.
Her comment where she's like, I'm looking back and seeing all the red flags, and I'm like, there's no fucking way this guy didn't have a million red flags.
Probably had I cannot believe the parents called her a selfish cow.
Cow?
Yeah.
What?
No, this
Fine.
family's a nightmare.
Okay, first of all, I'm really glad that I was worried that he sold the tickets and they were gone.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
was getting really overwhelmed.
Me too. I thought it was going to be something with like the agency where he was like, I need to close a deal, so he gave the tickets, and I was
the mom
like,
was sending photos. She had a checklist. She was ready to go to Hamilton. It's their thing.
It's their
Since they
thing.
were young. Why would he take that?
because he's evil and needs to die.
Let's
Yeah.
bury him under the brunch place.
Done.
Done.
Done. We're going.
All right.
It's been 8 years, guys.
You coming?
He could be dead.
Let's look at the obituary.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing, Jen, I get it. 17-year-olds are going through a tough time, but tickets
But well,
aren't going to solve her issue.
and let's be clear,
No.
Jen's her year is not going to be ruined because of her. Her year is going to be ruined because of her family lying to her and making up all this bullshit, and that they're not willing to just buy the tickets for her.
She probably would be so upset knowing that would be taken away from this.
Yeah.
No, that's actually like just full of absurd, ridiculousness.
Horrendous.
It actually just continued to unravel and fully just stopped making sense at a certain point. It was that bad.
I feel bad for her because, you know, there's a lot of people like this, and like of people who they are so harsh on themselves that they're not realizing how much of a monster someone is. Because at the end here, after she wrote out this story, she's like, I am not giving up these tickets. In parenthesis, is this selfish? It's like, how are you questioning that?
What are you saying?
How are you possibly questioning that?
This is your thing that you worked hard for.
I completely like hear that though. Like it's like you don't have that. No, this person has clearly never been validated. They've only been made to feel like that they are wrong, to doubt themselves, to be insecure about their thoughts. So they do have to genuinely reach out to a community and say, am I crazy?
I can only assume that this guy in their few months of dating has been so controlling and she thinks it's normal. And this was finally where he clearly thought he could just do this.
Of
course. Here she was talking about like, I got tickets with my mom, and he's sitting there going, oh, I can just take those.
Yeah.
Those are mine now.
You're so right.
Like he is so messed up that he's thinking just, I'll be able to do it. And he assumed he would say that and she'd go, oh yeah. That's what he thought was going to happen.
So much control.
And he was so mad when it didn't work.
Yeah, he called her a outside her favorite brunch place. That is a crime.
That is a crime.
Yeah.
And I love that she was like, I wasn't going to fight back because I want to come back to this brunch place.
Yes, I loved that. But
I
you know what?
I know.
I fully want to say, like, it's heartbreaking that she doesn't understand that it is so selfish of him to do. But I do want to take a second and actually acknowledge how empathetic this woman is.
Yeah.
And that gets taken advantage of.
Yes. In her whole response, she does not like blow her top at all. She's continuing to be like, they called me this. And you know what? I understand because they're clearly going through a lot inside of their family.
You don't owe them that in this moment.
And it's like, oh, honey, like you have clearly, you have so many great tools. And it sounds like she's had a great mother who has raised her so right. Hamilton, so cute, so great.
Let's also
they have
be
a
clear.
great relationship.
Let's also be clear. They're going through a lot. They have the money to buy these tickets.
Right.
They could have just gone, you know what? She's taking her mom. That's a great idea. We should buy tickets for Jen.
Right.
Like,
No.
They don't want to do shit for Jen.
Also, take Jen to therapy, man.
Yeah, actually, like,
no, Jen's
hashtag
probably
take
miserable.
Jen to therapy.
Jen's miserable because that's her family.
Exactly.
Yeah, justice for Jen.
Yeah.
Justice for Jen
No,
and the brunch
I guarantee
place.
you, Jen's probably like, I fucking hate them.
I fucking hate. Is there any update?
No, but there's some comments here.
Lynn didn't go on that night.
Top comment. I would dump him. It's not just about the tickets, but the lack of respect. He chose not to tell you and waited for it to come out in public in hopes that you'd step down to avoid making a scene. You sound like you have a good relationship with your mom. Take her to the show. Good moms are forever, boys are temporary. That's so true. He waited. He waited till there was a bunch of people at her brunch spot and let someone else say it so that he set up the whole chess trap. Insane. OP responded to that saying, yeah, I'm typing up an email dumping him right now.
Email.
Normally, I think it's better to meet up in real life for things like this, but his behavior both during and outside brunch was scary, and I would prefer not to be alone with him right now. Maybe that's paranoid, but better safe than sorry.
No, it's
I think this is one of those situations where everything was so crazy and they were acting like this is totally normal behavior that I thought I was the insane one. Another comment. There was a really similar post to this during Christmas where the OP made this beautiful cat vase for her mom by hand. It took months, and the boyfriend gifted it to his mom in front of her and expected the OP to just go along with it. The OP said there was a mix-up, and the boyfriend's mom was so crushed. He reacted the same way this OP's boyfriend did, yelling and calling her selfish. So apparently stuff like this happens more often than you think. Lastly, we have someone said, erase yourself from the narrative.
Queen.
Yes.
Queen.
OP said all the Hamilton puns in here are killing me in the best way. I can only assume there was a bunch more. Yeah, no, I mean, look, I don't I think at any stage in a relationship, if your partner calls you a that's if you said, I'm going to break up with them, I'd be like, that's fair. Like, had they been married for 20 years and this happened, that's grounds to get rid of it
Agreed.
entirely.
Absolutely.
This is like 2 months in. This guy is a nightmare.
That one really made me go,
I have a feeling.
what?
I have a feeling that shit's common.
Oh.
Also, in the comments, let me know if that has happened to you or if someone has.
Is
done
that common?
I think like just that type of controlling behavior of just being like, that's mine. Like everything's mine.
And just like treating other people around like they are just your pawns.
Yeah.
It's just his family and people around him that he cares about. And this girl, her life doesn't matter because she only exists as an extension of me for the last.
See where
2
he
months.
got it from? I mean, his parents.
Yeah.
And Jen's like probably
Jen.
living her life. She's probably a spiritual guru. at
Oh
this
God,
point.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Justice for Jen. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
This is great. Today I f***ed up by thinking my son was having gay sex when he was just eating hummus.
To be fair.
To be fair, so
Very
I've never had
similar.
gay sex, but I've had hummus. So I, a 39-year-old woman, have a son who's 15, and he brought a friend round today. They immediately went to their room, and I assumed they would just play some video games or whatever, so I was totally fine leaving them. It was about 30 minutes in when I was walking past, I heard sounds such as, "Oh my God, that's so good," and "It's so good with that in it," and various sounds.
Let's see how chill
There's
the mom
no
was.
other way to eat hummus. It really sounded like they were having gay sex. I was super weirded out by it.
It's just sex.
So I quickly went downstairs and waited for his friend to leave. When this friend left an hour or two later, I asked my son what they were doing in his room. Because although I don't mind him being gay, and I think it's and I know it's normal for teenagers to have sex, a condom really should have been used, so I plan to confront him about that. However, the answer shocked me to my very core. They weren't having sex, they were eating hummus. I was shocked and initially didn't believe it. We had never had hummus before, and I asked him to
Does this overlap with the girl that doesn't eat spicy food?
We had never had hummus before, and I asked him to show me the hummus if this was true.
Show me
the hummus! So he did, and I ate hummus for the first time, and oh my God, it wasn't good.
It wasn't good?
No. So he did, and I ate hummus for the first time, and oh my God, was it good.
What?
Where does it rank compared to gay
We
sex?
we experimented with different things in it, like bread and carrots, and it was great. Apparently, his friend had heard about how he had never had hummus before and thought this was so absurd, so had planned a date for a hummus party. So yeah, it ended up being quite a good ending. I discovered how nice hummus was. Thought my friend was having gay sex. He just really liked hummus.
What if they had hummus and then
So guys, I want to remind you that this is also Best of Redditor updates.
Oh boy, here we go.
So I don't know what's going on.
Can I point? I wonder if so she thought they're having gay sex, and then the friend
Just say sex.
No, it was gay sex. So the friend walked out of the room, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, how are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm stuffed." All right.
things people say after sex? Whoa. Oh man.
I am so sexed. Comments were, "Oh, I see you got hit by the emergency hummus."
No, hummus.
Were you guys having sex? Duh! I always kept open hummus inside my closet for when I was having sex with my friends. You never know when you might get caught. Lady for real just fell for the old hummus trick.
See the oldest trick in the book.
Okay, here's the update.
Okay.
Oh,
boy,
God.
Here we
It was a
Here
tumor.
we go.
So yeah, the majority of you were right. They were having sex.
Yes, let's go.
Good for him.
No, not sex. Let's say it all together.
Hummus.
I did think it sounded like it. They ate some hummus first, then put it away, didn't do anything at the same time like some of you freaks suggested, and then had sex. My son's boyfriend, I think they're boyfriends, saw the post and couldn't stop laughing. So told my son, thinking it could be about them, who told me because I think he felt a bit guilty about hiding it. Other than that, nothing really exciting happened. We had a long, awkward talk. I told him I don't really endorse him having sex, but he should really use a condom, etc. Now, on to the more important thing. Hummus. I really like hummus now. I'd never had it before because it just looked kind of disgusting, yellow and sludgy. But I have learned appearances can be deceiving. It was homemade, so I'm going to have to ask for the recipe so I can make some more. I've finished all of it. Also, what are some other good things to dip in it? I've tried the obvious things, carrot, cucumber, breads, and any suggestions would be appreciated. A lot of people have recommended baba ganoush as well. Is that similar and better than hummus?
God.
I love baba ganoush, and I've made it myself. You throw some eggplants in your oven.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
Baba ganoush.
I just have to say, it's a little strange that she's more accepting of hummus than her son having sex.
No, she was chill. She was chill.
with it. She just
was
said, like,
okay
please use a
with it.
condom. He's 15. I think
Word.
it's more just like,
Yeah.
oh, like, please, like, you know,
Damn.
you're young, like, don't.
Yeah.
TLDR, my son is actually gay, but I also really like hummus.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I love that.
That is the.
Who among us?
I see. This is how you should react when you find a new food you've never had before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever covered up something you were doing with a blatant lie or anything like that? Did your parents ever catch you or almost catch you doing anything?
I don't think I was ever caught. I was not intimate with many people when I was young.
Yeah, problem is
but my bed was far too squeaky to get into anything anyway.
Yeah.
So it was the bed. It was the squeaky
It was
bed.
the bed. That's why I didn't have sex.
I
forever.
can safely say that throughout my teenage years, I had zero hummus.
But my boys.
Boys. Today I fucked up by not looking before I sat down. Floor 8 of the place of my employment, inside the men's shitter. I'm sitting there, doing my sit-down business because the boss makes $1, I make a dime. I've just finished the dirty work and I'm about to perform my ablutions, which is, I suppose, cleaning yourself. But I delay it because it's a paid to shit thing, dicking around on Reddit a bit. At this point, I feel something jump onto my balls. Something I had never hoped I would ever experience, let alone talk about on the internet. I shriek. Not a barbarian shriek, not a Viking shriek. Psycho shower scene shriek. A huntsman spider has crawled out of the toilet bowl and jumped onto my low-hanging fruit. This is an Australian for sure. Like, I mean, it's a huntsman, but the wording now makes sense. I bat the spider off, smacking myself in the nuts, keeling over in pain. Spider dead. Good news. My banshee wail has not gone unanswered. Bad news. Someone comes into the bathroom and knocks on the stall door. Mate, are you all right? Have you fallen over? I'll call an ambulance. No, fine. Everything is good. Just slipped. Fine. No need to call an ambulance. You can leave now. I flushed the world's smallest sexual predator to try and retain some of my inner pride, wash my hands, and make the very, very long walk back to my desk. My manager's desk isn't too far from the bathrooms, and he comes up to me afterwards. What happened in there? Is everyone all right? Yeah, everyone's fine. And then I make the dumbest decision of my life and explain to him what had happened. And the audacity of the man. He laughs. He laughs so hard, he has to sit down so he doesn't hurt himself. His hyena, kookaburra hybrid laughter has gotten the attention of some of the other members of my team. They're looking to get in on the funny joke. Boss man wheezes, get him to tell them holy shit. And because I'm incredibly susceptible to peer pressure, I tell them, like a fucking gimp.
Oh my God.
Damn, okay. I'm going to skip past most of the laughter because it went on for what felt like forever. I come back from lunch, and Bossman and 2 other members of my team come up to me as I'm sitting back down at my desk, getting ready to get back to work. Bossman is holding a piece of paper. Look, we need to have a chat about something. I've brought 2 of your friends in the team as support since this is obviously not something that's easy to talk about. I am confused. I have a blank HR report here. I'll need you to fill this out. You confided in me that you were sexually harassed in the workplace, and it's my duty of care to make sure the poopatrator is brought to justice. Under the space where it says, which hand did they assault you with? Just put ×8. We understand this is a traumatic experience for you, and I just want you to know that every resource we have is here for you. I will just say, based on every Australian I've ever met, this makes so much sense.
What?
Like
Wait.
so a huntsman spider, which are massive.
Wait.
Huntsman
Is it this big?
Yes, huntsman spiders are the biggest spiders in the world. Huntsman spiders' average body size is 1 inch. Average leg span is 3 to 5 inches. So their body is an inch around. But overall, they are bigger than your hand. Like they are, or relatively. So this spider could have really fully
Grab the ball.
fully clutched.
Really?
Fully clutched.
It was like, yeah! Yay! Take me home!
I believe they are relatively harmless to people. Relatively.
Not to balls, though.
Like they're not venomous or massively, like they're not a dangerous spider. They're just friggin' huge.
Here's what I'm confused about. The ending. Was that like serious? Or
No,
was
they're
he
fucking with him. They're fucking with him because they said, hey, with the hand, what hand did they use? It's like eight hands.
Wow, they really kept it going for him, huh?
I just can't get over the initial claw grab that it must have gotten.
Yeah,
on
like the
those.
boss and all them making fun of him, I think is, like I said,
Hilarious.
based on the Australians I've known, it makes sense. At least an American point of view of Australia, it's like, that's what Australia, like,
They're
there's
joshing
spiders
around.
all over the place, and they're like, oh, this spider get ya? Well, we got an AITA report for you. You got to sign it.
That's so true. Actually,
Yeah.
when you say it like that, now I'm like, oh, that makes total sense.
It's a funny joke.
Why is it?
But he
when
shouldn't have told what happened in the bathroom. But I understand.
Oh,
that-
I would be telling everyone.
I would be telling a random person on the street.
I would be telling people for the rest of my life that a huntsman spider clutched
Grabbed
my balls.
I just immediately go to visuals and I start imagining this man's balls, and I don't want to be there.
Well, that's fair.
So-
Don't picture the balls.
That's all I can see.
I will say it is an innate fear. Speaking as a man, of if, and I think this goes for anyone, of just a bug being in the toilet and crawling up.
I stare at the toilet before I go.
Oh,
there.
I look. I can't imagine not looking.
Oh yeah.
And a huntsman spider's so big, you'd think.
I told you that one time that I heard a woman, she sat on poop at a Whole Foods. I was on the East Coast and I went in there and she was with her son and I don't know who did it, her son or the person before, but she went, oh my God, I sat on someone's poop. It was like a little log of poop must have been sitting there. And
Not
she
a
must
little
have been
log.
so mom and busy. She was probably just like, gotta get the pants off and sit, and it's just a,
No, I absolutely
and I
assess.
could hear the whole thing.
I'm also the type that in a public bathroom, I will check a stall to be like, is this the stall I'm using?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll go to a different stall.
Oh no, I'm shopping in the bathroom. I'm picky. If there's a drop.
So now the title of it is Not Looking Before I Sat Down. But I should point out, he was sitting there for a while before this happened. I have a feeling maybe it was underneath the toilet seat or something.
Okay, well now that's a new fear that you can't just set up real estate on the toilet.
I have seen videos of people walking into a stall and lifting the toilet seat and spiders.
Don't
I'm
like
sorry.
that.
Sorry to ruin everyone's life. That's how spiders work.
I guess we can't freaking poop anymore.
Some comments. Flushing, the world's smallest sexual predator, and the HR forum put this story over the top. Someone said, such an Australian today, I fucked up. Someone said, thank you for renewing my mental subscription to be terrified of spider poopetrators every time you sit on a toilet. OP responded, mate, I've been needing to shit ever since I got home, and I'm having nom flashbacks every time I look at my toilet.
Oh my
If
God.
I've got to live with this fear, so does everyone else.
Perpetrator is so
Dude,
good.
Perpetrator.
I do wonder how often this happens in Australia. It's such a trope. It's such a trope here in America of there's snakes and spiders everywhere. But I went to Australia for 10 days several years ago, and I was in Sydney, Melbourne, Gold Coast. I don't think I saw a spider the entire time.
Were you on a tour bus the whole
I was
time?
in I was in the city, staying in hotel rooms and stuff. So maybe I need to be out, more in the
Yeah.
suburbs.
Maybe they were clawed to your balls already.
Maybe they were already on my balls.
they were
never
on
thought
that
about
whole
Maybe they're
trip.
just there every single day.
They were with you.
Yeah.
You're like, come on, little buddy, let's go to work.
Okay.
Hop on.
All right. Am I the asshole for accidentally losing my mother-in-law's ashes?
Oh no. In-law.
Was she
Not
chill?
the in-law. Was she chill? No, she was burned.
This is a 26-year-old man. I and my wife, who's 25, have been married for 4 years and together for 6.
Bro.
We met in college and shortly.
Sorry, they got married real young.
Yeah.
How old were they?
He was 22, she was 21.
Oh.
And they've been together for years before that. We met in college, and shortly after we graduated, I proposed. We've never fought and have always stayed loyal and faithful. When she was 16, her mother died in a fatal accident. I won't go into detail, but after a fight between her mother and her father, her mom stormed out and was hit while crossing the street by a drunk driver. I've always understood how devastating her mother's loss has been, and always was there for her on her mother's passing anniversary and Mother's Day. Lately, we've been thinking about having kids, so we moved from our small apartment in New York to a nice home in New Jersey. The move was stressful for both of us, and we wanted to make sure we didn't forget anything. Once we finished packing, she asked me to do one last scan through her apartment and to grab her mother's ashes, which were in a vase. She was going to drive to the house with all our stuff, and I'd carefully bring the vase to make sure it wasn't damaged in all the other boxes. I said goodbye to the house and put the vase in my front seat and started driving. I was driving to the house when some jerk cut me off, making me slam the brakes. The vase had a ceramic lid and was suctioned on loosely. When I slammed the brakes, the vase tumbled from the front seat and the lid came off. I pulled to the side of the road to try and scoop it back in, but it was no use. I ended up pulling up to a car wash where you could vacuum and clean your car.
You're a criminal.
I vacuumed up any trace of the ashes and made my car look good as new. For the new ashes, I went to pick up dirt and sand off the side of the road and had filled up the vase halfway. Everything worked out great. I made it to the house. I used the excuse that there was heavy traffic on the highway, and that's why I was late. Everything was all good until she lifted the vase. She said it felt heavier than before. I told her maybe she just thought it was lighter, but when she opened the vase, when she opened the vase, she noticed a slight difference in the color. Instead of a light gray, it was tan and brown with little pebbles.
Am I the pebble?
Am I the pebble? We were making that joke before we
Or
started.
am I the pebble?
And she's like, what are those? She's like, those must have been inside of her.
Dude, those are bones.
Those are bones, dude. Wow, your mom had round bones.
Dude, Emily, I'm sorry, you picked the wrong people to...
Emily really made sure that we were okay with this, and now here we are. She immediately asked what happened. I told her the story, and she was fuming.
Dude, he caved so fast.
She couldn't believe I sucked her mom up into a vacuum and replaced her with dirt.
You sucked my mom up?
You sucked my mom?
Stop.
She couldn't believe I sucked her mom up into a vacuum and replaced her with dirt. She threatened to kick me out, saying if I didn't leave, she would. She just left to go for a walk, and I think she blew things out of proportion. I kept calling her, and when she finally answered, I told her she acted like I killed her.
Oh!
She hung up, and I haven't heard or seen from her in 2 hours. Am I the asshole, or is she just taking this way too far? Okay, number one, I've started to come to the opinion that if people are posting a Reddit story mere hours after a fight, I think you're an asshole. I think you're an asshole even if you're in the fight, to just immediately go to Reddit.
There's something deeply wrong with you.
That's weird. Comments here. Let me think really hard for a moment. Yes, you're the asshole. Someone said, you're the asshole. You admit you didn't secure the urn properly, tried to hide the evidence, and yet you still think she's the issue? Assuming this is a real post, I suspect you'll be heading for divorce court soon. You seriously can't be dense enough to wonder why she's mad at you. OP responded, she never told me to secure the urn, and I didn't want to do anything to mess with it or the ashes. But when it fell, I felt I had to do something to get my sled out of the trouble. Okay, that's weaponized incompetence there. She didn't tell me to secure the urn.
Yeah, that's so messed up.
What?
I'm imagining he sees all the ashes there and he pulls over, he's like, oh, what do I do? Then he looks over and he sees a copy of Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, and he gets the vacuum and it's like,
oh my God.
All he had to do is as soon as it happens, he needs to call her and be like, I'm so sorry. I just had to slam my brakes because someone cut me off and the ashes are now in the seat of my car. Let's figure out how to get them. They're there. The ashes are in your car. Yes, they're spilled out. There's got to be a better way to go about this. But you vacuumed it up, which is getting rid of it.
Yeah, I think what I've seen people do, and it's obviously not like a foolproof thing, but it's like you buy a new little handy vac, a new one.
Yeah.
And then you get as much of the remains as you can. Obviously, it's not going to be 100%
And then you
of the
empty that
remains.
into the
You
vase.
put it
Yeah.
back. But the fact that he immediately, it was like he's done this before. Like he
know.
so quickly was like, I went to clean my car out and I grabbed some debris from the side of the road. Like zero remorse.
He dug his own grave.
He dug
with
his own
this.
grave.
He, in that situation, he cared more about his car, because he's even like, yeah, my car was good
Yeah,
as
my
new.
car was.
My car was
My
good as
car
new.
looked awesome.
But this person, nah.
This is. Can I say this is like Meet the Parents on several
I
levels?
was
Yes.
thinking
Because
this
they
is-
break the urn, but also when the cat runs away and he brings back the other cat.
Yeah.
They couldn't tape it down.
This was some Ben Stiller shenanigans.
They could have literally taped it down. One piece of tape, a little tape down tape. Tape.
I didn't know people actually kept ashes in like open urns or
It's not
vase.
open. It's like it's
Got a
an
lid.
urn.
Oh, I guess so.
and
The
they
whole
don't-
thing shattered.
It's not like a. It's not
I
like
think
a
the
twist
lid
on.
came off. It fell and the lid fell off. So I'm like, there's still stuff there. One last comment. Lol, absolutely no way is this real. Vacuuming up her dead mother's remains. I'm not sure you get to see heaven after that. OP responded, I was extremely nervous and stressed. It was the first thing I could think of. Now that I'm thinking about it, it wasn't the smartest thing I could do. Thanks for the feedback. 139 downvotes. Yeah, dude, come on.
Buddy. And then what really sucks is that stuff happened. Sucks is the vacuum. What after it happened, his reaction to her feelings.
Oh,
she
my
had
God.
every right to have an absolute tantrum. She could have freaking busted a window. But him being like, you're acting like I killed her. Like, just say you're fucking sorry. Say you're so fucking sorry.
The beginning of it to me is just like to understand the weight of something to someone, like that is if anyone, if a stranger came up to me and was like, hey, these are some ashes, I need you to transport them. I wouldn't just like plop it in a seat and buckle it up. Like I would probably put that in a box and seal that. So I'm like, I need to know nothing can happen to this shit, because like that's so much responsibility. He
or
treated
just
it like it was
ask them like,
whatever.
hey, how do you think I should transport
Yeah.
this? Maybe.
Communicate it. You didn't tell me to secure it.
Yeah, no, that's
Oh, you didn't tell me you didn't want me to vacuum it up.
that totally is weaponized incompetence by making it her responsibility when him, an
Yeah.
adult who was given one job.
And then adding the dirt is crazy.
Yeah, that's some
dirt with pebbles in it.
That's some Mr. Bean shit.
It really was a Mr. Bean level of like stupid. It was,
This feels heavier. No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Oh, what's worse, adding the dirt or showing up with the urn half full? Adding the dirt is so much
Adding
worse.
the dirt.
Adding the dirt.
That
is
is
the
you're adding a
most-
lie, and
Yeah.
it's so disrespectful because that's in its own little way. You're equating your mother-in-law's ashes to dirt, to just dirt.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, well, it's kind of the same.
Yeah,
Kind of.
when it comes to like human remains, there is like a very intensely special level of respect that you pay to that, and I'm sure that the reaction would have been, there still would have been some pain from his girlfriend, but like, or from his wife, but to add dirt into it, like at least she could have still just had her mom still.
Yeah.
Not as much. Now
I'm
he's-
an urn half full kind of guy.
Wow, I think it was a nail in the coffin for how he reacted and made it her fault somehow. When that was you had one job. If I was ever asked to do something like that, I would frickin' 10 pieces of tape, trash bag wrapped around, taped around the trash bag,
Walk it
This is
there.
put stuffed animals around it.
This is an Am I the X situation.
Yeah.
This person is broken up with and he
Yeah.
doesn't realize it. Today I f***ed up by throwing my steak out a window. Unless this is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Last night, my wife's boss from her brand new job invited us over for dinner. On the drive over, my wife reiterated to me many times just how important it was to make a good impression. I scoffed and arrogantly informed my silly wife that I will always make good impressions. My wife's boss is a single lady in her 50s, so it was just the three of us. We chit-chatted over drinks and salads and seemed to be really hitting it off. She laughed at my well-timed, perfectly appropriate jokes, and my wife seemed pleased. Soon, she brought out the main course, a nice big juicy steak for each of us. As I began to cut into my steak, I was discouraged to discover how undercooked this steak was. Now, I've had my fair share of rare steak. I prefer medium, but I can handle rare. This was several minutes on a hot grill short of rare. I probably could have resuscitated the cow had I tried. Instead, I sat there fidgeting with my knife and fork, worrying about how I was going to get away with not eating this steak. Claim veganism? No, I'd already feigned great enthusiasm upon seeing the steak. Just then, our hostess excused herself to the kitchen to take care of some dessert preparations. As I looked across the fancy dining room table at the open window of this third-story apartment, a cartoon light bulb appeared over my head. I knew I had to be decisive, realizing that she could return at any moment. I committed. I grabbed the steak with my hand, gently shook off the juice, and executed a perfect throw right through the center of the open window. Here's the big time f*** up. The window wasn't open.
Her windows are just not clean.
It was the cleanest freaking window you've ever seen in your life. That is, until my mostly raw slab of steak slammed up against it and slowly slid down, leaving a trail of bloody juice in its wake. My wife, whose steak was a nice medium rare and was unaware of my predicament, turned, jaw dropped, and stared at me like I was an alien from another planet. This look then slowly morphed into more of a, there is no place on this planet you can ever hide from me, expression of demonic anger. My wife's boss heard the thud of the steak on window impact and came quickly. She took in the scene, the steak sitting on the windowsill, the bloody trail, my empty plate, and then gave me an inquisitive, puzzled look. I just didn't know what to say. It felt like minutes of silence, but it was probably 3 or 4 seconds. Finally, the best I could manage was, I'm so sorry. I'm such a klutz. I don't know. I was just cutting it and it slipped. Just ask my wife. I realize I am a klutz. Right, honey? No help coming from that direction. I will clean this up. I can't believe this. I'm so sorry, etc., etc. Both women continued to stare at me like I had escaped from the loony bin as I smeared the blood around the window with my cloth napkin, dusted off the steak, and continued to mutter my incoherent explanation. I knew no one was buying the story. I knew what I had to do. I sheepishly returned to my seat and proceeded to eat every bite of that disgusting, cold, chewy, bloody, raw steak. I remained pretty quiet the rest of the evening. My wife's only 2 words to me since the incident are, I'm fine.
No, she's not fine.
No
Okay.
one in the world could be fine.
Is this a prank? Is every Reddit stories an episode of Everyone Loves Raymond?
I was about to say, this is a Seinfeld
This
episode.
is what?
I mean, look, there's always the possibility that they're fake. Always. But
It's not. It's just so funny.
He ate the window steak?
he ate the window steak.
And then just like a silly mad wife, she went, I'm fine.
Is this guy Peter Griffin?
Yeah.
Comments, you should have grilled the steak under the pretense that you were killing off any germs it might have picked up on the floor. So OP responded, damn it, that's a good idea. Someone else said, all you had to do was ask if she could cook it for a little longer. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But hey, look on the bright side, you'll have a funny story to tell all your friends for years to come. Lastly, someone said, sir, you need to update your version of Windows.
How many likes does that comment have?
I don't know. What would you do in this situation?
Not throw my steak out a window.
I would never throw the
I
steak.
think I would piss my pants if I saw someone chuck a steak when the cook left the room. I think I would laugh so hard I'd die.
It was poor planning because if she came back and his entire steak was fully gone,
He's like,
it's like, and he's like, what a delightful steak.
it's like, that's also
You
insane.
ate that so fast,
the
man.
instinct to grab it and frisbee it out of there is wild.
I went into the story thinking he was going to throw it out of a car.
Yeah,
I
me
thought
too.
so too.
I thought he was driving and he was like, this is bad.
And then it would like hit someone. Bonk.
Oh my gosh, what would you guys do? That is crazy.
I'd eat the steak. But I also, I like medium rare, so I could probably handle, if a steak was super rare, I'd just be like, all right.
I feel like I'm a master at cutting around, moving around, and making it look like I made a dent, but I
Yeah,
didn't.
don't eat much of it.
I don't really care about steak. I think it's good. I'm not, there's people who eat steak and they're like,
They're like, for your birthday, we're gonna bring you to a steak dinner.
right, so I probably wouldn't have gotten into that situation. I'd be like, I actually don't want a steak.
Oh, you wouldn't have even asked for it on the plate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I would have been like, I can't eat this. This is
Yeah.
gross. Please cook.
Have you ever been in a situation where people served you food that you don't like?
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
really good at like moving it around and putting some on the fork. And I think the idea of like trying to get rid of it is so
That's
scary.
insane. No, that's some Mr. Bean shit.
Yeah, like
to see that person come in and see you getting rid of it.
Actually, I think this is a Mr. Bean's. There is a sketch where he gets a bunch of like raw meat that he won't eat, and so he's hiding it throughout the whole place. And then they slowly discover it, and every time they discover like a new piece of meat, like in a napkin and stuff, he's just like, it's fucking hilarious.
This is so funny.
There's a Seinfeld episode where there's like a steak thing, and he like puts in the napkins because he doesn't want to eat it, and he just has them like in a jacket, and then Elaine borrows the jacket and the meat's still in there, and dogs are chasing her.
Dogs are chasing. Yes, and the tag is her going down the street, right?
Yeah.
And all these dogs are chasing her.
Wow, classic.
I think this is so freaking
Don't
funny.
try to hide your meat.
I'm gonna start throwing my meat at windows.
Small little update. Just got the first communication from my wife since I'm fine. She is at work. The text said, "Good news, boss's name, and I just had a good laugh over how much of a fucking idiot you are. I hope you know you will never live this down. Love you, you moron." Aw.
That's good.
I want a divorce. I'm just kidding.
Update, we're divorced.
Update.
I forgot that this woman was the boss.
Is a boss.
I would be mortified if I was his wife.
Yeah.
Cooking steak for guests, it's a tough thing
an ordeal.
to do. That's a bold move.
Honestly, good for him. He just bonded those two people now.
Yeah, it's true.
The wife and the boss.
They have a common enemy.
Yeah.
His brain. Am I the asshole for taking the longer route to spend more time with her? Okay. Interesting.
I hate, okay, so pause. It's funny, in these stories, I feel like the ones that have the most innocent titles ever always have the most messed up shit in them.
Most insane.
It's like, am I the asshole for taking the longer ride? It's like, that sounds so innocent, and it's just gonna be the most sociopathic, activities.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's see it. All right, so you already think this person's an asshole.
I do. 100%.
Am I the asshole for taking the longer route? Absolutely. No, you need to say some fucked up shit in the title. Okay, here we go. I, a 19-year-old male, work a full-time job in the tech industry. My role is 100% remote, so I rarely have a reason to go outside. However, after recording data on my personal life, I concluded that my social life was in a poor state. As a result, I decided to pursue hobbies that would allow me to befriend people my age and meet women. One such hobby led me to connect with a group of physically active young adults. I was instantly taken by a woman, 22 female, Amira, in the group. She is slim with a small waist and perfectly round breasts.
No!
The cherry on top is her face. Her sense of humor is rather childish, but I was still fascinated. One morning, 6 of us went hiking together. We decided to hold a mini competition. We'd go off into pairs and choose 3 different routes to complete the trail. Whichever pair completed the trail first would be crowned the winner. I knew the route well as I had studied the area the night before. However, Amira wasn't familiar with the trail at all. I volunteered to be her guide and companion for the competition. Our only aid was physical maps. As soon as we embarked on the journey, I decided that it would prove fruitful to seize this opportunity to get to know her. I purposefully chose a long, complex detour so we could spend more time together. At the start, we made a great conversation and I found out a lot about her. However, as time went by, she grew more frustrated. She kept looking at the map and insisting we're going the wrong way. I told her that the maps were not accurate as they didn't account for path closures and other factors. This was not the truth. I know. After a while, she grew more stressed and claimed she needed the toilet. We did find a place and she could relieve herself, and this seemed to have given her some peace. After about 6 hours, the trail itself was roughly 3 hours, we started making our way back. Amira had already communicated with the group and began accusing me of taking unnecessary detours. I simply pointed out her desirable physical features and the impact they have on me. I thought she would be pleased to hear these compliments, but she was not. She told me to stop describing her at all and that she doesn't want to hear about my biological responses. She did not speak to me for the rest of our journey. I've since been kicked out of the group. In fact, everyone in the group has labeled me all sorts of things. Amira described me as a selfish, weird asshole and asked me to stay far away from her. I suspect these feelings are temporary and born out of confusion more than anything. Am I the asshole for attempting to nurture our connection with the landscape serving as a beautiful backdrop to what could have been? Or should I have not used this particular activity to carry out my plan?
I rest my case.
Dude, the red flag for me in the title was when he said, with her, And we're like, oh, this man thinks he's like poetic as and he's got a distorted outlook on this situation.
Yeah, I have a pretty strong stance on lying, and so any sort of lying, there's a lot.
This was technically.
But I'm gonna say lie. Like let's take out everything else.
Sure.
Let's take it. I'm saying this person's the asshole just for lying, and
Right.
when it's like if you take a detour because you want to hang out with a person.
This
and
was
then you're,
technically kidnapping, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate how right you were.
As soon as you read the title, I was like, this is about to be insane. Weird,
Yeah,
insane.
that was sadistic.
The descriptions in here. So he got out into the middle of the woods and then described what he liked about her physical features.
And how his body
His
responded
body
to them.
responds. Oh
Oh my God.
I do not want to think about how he described her to her face, because his descriptions on Reddit are pretty rough. Oh my God.
And it's always like you say, when the OP is always trying to tell the story in their best light possible. So we don't really, imagine how even worse and even weirder and creepier it was. Because the fact that she was right off the bat, started accusing him, eventually started accusing him of detours and stuff. And
then he lied and was like, no, it's this. And he made her feel, he was trying to gaslight her. And it's like, no, dude, oh my God.
So bad.
The verdict is asshole. Here's some comments. You're the asshole, a massive one. You tricked a woman into spending 6+ hours alone in the woods with you while you make her uncomfortable with weird and unwanted advances. In what universe is that a good flirting strategy? Someone else said, you're the asshole so far out of line, you placed your interests above her comfort and enjoyment of the day. You're the asshole. Good God. Just the way you describe her. She is slim with a small waist and perfectly round breasts. Stop right there, bro. I would have felt totally creeped out and Prob would have punched you in the throat, LOL. Never do this again. OP responded, I struggled to see the issue with that description.
hello?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean,
She's got some issues.
that too, but something I want to add, I don't know, this is also a personal, because I understand, because I've not been in this place, but I remember in my early 20s out in LA feeling very alone and being like, meeting friends and dating is really hard in this world. I think if you're going into these meeting groups and stuff with the purpose of I want to find a person to go on a date with, I think you're off to a bad start. And I'm saying this as, frankly, weirdly, as dating advice. If you're feeling alone and wanting to find a partner, make your top priority meeting friends and go to these and try to meet friends and try to form those connections and be patient with this. If you try to force this is the absolute worst thing that can happen, but on much more small everyday ways, this can happen.
Yeah.
If you're going into these types of things with it is a predatory mindset.
It is.
I am going in there,
yeah.
I'm trying to find a woman.
Well,
That's
yeah.
a bad mindset to be in, and it's gonna make you feel more alone, because it's not gonna work. Try to go in and just form connections.
Well, yeah. What's unfortunate is he didn't even realize that he was going in the right direction. He joined these groups. He already was describing all of these young, fit people. Very strange. But they were already becoming friends. They had this game. He had every opportunity. He studied the trail. Whatever it takes for him, dude. But he did get partnered with her. He could have just done the game and that's good memories. And he was doing some of the right things. And it's right. When you pursue friends, you don't need to turn those friends into potential partners. Not every person that is a gender that you're attracted to is an opportunity. But when you make friends set their friends up with people. There is every opportunity.
It requires patience. He's 19. I wish I could go back to when I was 19 and reach out more and go to more groups and try more experiences with the mindset of I just want to meet people and just connect with people. and trust that it will happen. Like, it will happen. And I fear that this guy has fallen very victim to a lot of what the internet and the manosphere tells you, which is like, be direct, like, know what you want, say the thing, and it's wrong.
Yeah, be direct and gaslight women.
Yeah.
No,
Anyways.
this story made me want to throw up on this pillow.
It was a little nauseating.
It's a good pillow, so. All right, let's move on because the comments,
They speak for themselves,
Reddit declared what they thought. Am I the asshole for trying to help my girlfriend without hurting her feelings? Okay.
Good start.
Okay.
Nothing wrong here.
I, a 32-year-old man, have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, a 24-year-old woman, for almost 3 years now. When we first got together, she was pretty overweight and struggling with her self-esteem, depression, and anxiety. Over time, she started to work on herself, both physically and mentally. I've been incredibly proud of her progress and how far she's come. Lately, though, I noticed that she's been putting on some weight again, and it's been affecting her mental health. She's mentioned feeling down about her body image, and her struggles with anxiety and depression have resurfaced. I genuinely care for her, and I don't want to see her suffer like this. I thought about talking it out, but I knew it would just devolve into asking if I'm still attracted to her. And truthfully, I have lost some attraction over the last month or so, though she does still look amazing for the most part. I thought it would be... Yeah, I know.
Sorry. It's the for the most part.
Yeah,
for me.
it's...
Okay.
I thought it would be better to take a more subtle approach, so I've started adding small amounts of sawdust to her food.
No.
That I've never been more caught off guard by a sentence. I'm sorry, I thought I would take a more subtle approach, so I've started adding small amounts of sawdust to her food. The idea being it would help her feel fuller, faster, and encourage her to eat less without her knowing. I was trying to prevent her from falling back into her previous state of depression and anxiety. Unfortunately, my brother, a 30-year-old man, caught me in the act, and he was shocked/angry. He told me... He told me I was being manipulative and abusive, which, okay, a little shady maybe, but abusive is a serious stretch. Now my brother is giving me an ultimatum. He wants me to tell my girlfriend what I've been doing by the end of the week, or he'll tell her himself. He believes she deserves to know the truth. I think what I've been doing is enough to help her without causing her unnecessary pain by revealing what I've done. She's already lost a few pounds. I told him I would stop, and I believe that should be sufficient. I don't see the point of telling her and potentially destroying the progress she's made. My brother thinks I'm completely in the wrong and that my girlfriend deserves the truth, but I genuinely believe I was doing what I thought would be best for her, and I don't see it as a malicious act. Am I really the jerk for trying to help my girlfriend in this way, or is my brother overreacting? Should I tell my girlfriend what I've been doing or keep it to myself to spare her feelings? I need honest opinions here. Please keep in mind that telling her upfront that she's put on weight could seriously set back her mental health.
Okay, well, first off,
sometimes you get a story that you're just like,
I want to go to bed. I don't know how to continue my day.
I think we're missing some serious context here. I need to know, is this sawdust organic?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Is it keto?
Yeah.
Keto sawdust? Let me read this comment really quick. You're the asshole. You are poisoning her food. OP responded, it wasn't poison. It was sawdust. I could see if I was adding laxatives or something, but plenty of processed foods use sawdust as a filler. I thought it was a safe way to reduce her caloric intake.
So I think it's cellulose. I think because that was the whole thing with Subway bread. Like people were like Subway bread has sawdust because it's cellulose. That they
got it.
I think that's.
I
What
will
it
say
is.
sawdust has a lot of fiber. Ha cha 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 cha.
Cha.
That's bad. Like that's
so insane. That's like also just like robbing her of like the agency to like.
Oh yeah.
Like.
It's yet another story here where we see like a man looking at his partner and being like, I love her so much. She's so sweet. I'm doing these crazy things to her because I love her so much. Like, that's not love, that's control. And I also want to point out, like, look, sometimes age differences are fine. Sometimes it works out. But as the age difference gets bigger, there's more of a chance for it to be like, this is a little creepy and a little controlling. So when they got together, he was 29, she was 21. It's an 8-year age gap. And he's also like, yeah, her self-esteem was terrible, and there's an 8-year age difference. I'm like, well, you have all the power and control you could ever want. Good Lord.
Yeah.
And now he's like, yeah, I'm feeding her secretly. It's just, that's an unhealthy situation.
It's super
It's
insane.
horrifying.
It's insane. Look, reading these Reddit stories, I do notice a correlation of when dudes are dating a woman much younger than them, there's often controlling habits from these men.
Like
I do notice that they're like, I can help her, I can fix this, I know, like, and it's like, then that's not a relationship to be in. Like if you believe you're superior to your partner, no, that's not good. That's not
awful.
healthy. It's a bad mindset. That's controlling.
Also, I guess it should be noted, if you want to lose weight, don't do sawdust.
Oh my God.
Don't eat sawdust.
Like, don't eat sawdust.
If you're feeling like shit, don't eat sawdust. That's gonna make you feel
worse. It's not gonna
worse.
make you feel better.
It's so sad because like so much is tied to people's weight, and everybody has so much baggage tied to that in your own personal journey. And I don't know anybody who's ever like not questioned their own weight, and certain people have like really troubled histories with that. So for him to basically be implementing what would be the result of like an eating disorder onto this person without their knowledge, it's truly horrific on so many levels.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard of a secondary eating disorder before.
Munchausen's by proxy, but
he literally is like Munchausen's by proxy in her in a weird way. Someone commented being like, you are the asshole. For starters, I understand that you're trying to help her in your own way, but please never add things to people's food without their consent. She could have been allergic, or, I mean, it's sawdust. I'm adding splinters to her oatmeal.
I mean, actually.
Someone commented saying, like, have you made similar comments to her that might be making her feel this way? And he said, no, I would never say something like that to her. I know how damaging it could be. I was trying to take a two-pronged approach, if that makes sense. I thought if we had healthy habits and she saw immediate results, it would help her stay motivated. We only have this story.
Sawdust and healthy.
We only have this story to go off of, but he's talking a lot about like, oh, but it makes her mental health and all this stuff. And I'm just like, it sounds to me like you care more about this than her. And I think I don't know. That's my assumption based on this story from his perspective, that she can, and he even admitted like, yeah, and it's affected my attraction for her. I think he cares about her weight and he's trying to use a bunch of excuses.
I think he cares about her weight a lot, and I also think not speaking to her is for him more than her. He's like, if I bring this up to her because he's afraid to admit to her that it matters to him, which, yeah, that sucks, but like he's afraid to bring it up, then she's going to be mad at me or feel sad, and then things are going to get worse for me. Like, none of this is from a place of love. It's from a place of like ownership.
Yeah.
And it's really gross.
It's also a crime.
It's a crime.
100%. It is. I think this is a full-on crime.
Putting sawdust in food?
Yeah. I would imagine this. At the very least, she needs to get out of this. I hope his brother tells her, and I hope she runs for the hills. You're right about the cellulose, but is OP using cellulose or literal sawdust?
Yeah.
We don't know. What happens, though, if you eat sawdust? Sawdust is a human carcinogen. Eating sawdust can lead to intestinal blockages as well as other gastrointestinal issues. He says she's been losing weight. I wonder if it's actually just causing
she's all corked up.
Serious issues.
Yeah, because I think with the whole thing of like cellulose and like the Subway breads, people go like cellulose. Well, cellulose is found in sawdust. It's not like, I don't think Subway is dumping actual sawdust in. It's just like, it's derived from that.
Well, these are the dangers that people have when everyone thinks they're a doctor, right? It's like,
That's a good point.
Look, man, you don't understand this shit. You're not he's clearly not a nutritionist. He's not a doctor. He's not even a fitness trainer or anything. And he's trying to make all these executive decisions over her health. And his only measurement is weight, which is not an accurate measurement of health.
That's the thing
and
too.
so
Yeah.
he's so clearly, obviously focused on.
Yeah,
I want my girlfriend to be hotter.
He's just poisoning her.
He's truly a monster. Well, beyond asshole, actual terrifying man. If that woman watches these stories, run. I hope someone tells her. Got up by jumping into a lake in my bra/panties to save a man that turned out to be an elite military scuba diver in training. That's awesome.
Sounds like the beginning of a 90s movie.
I was gonna say it's like the beginning of a rom-com.
Yeah.
I'm couch surfing with my sister and her boyfriend. I work for him at the lakeside bar trying to pay for college. My state is open, and while I'm not thrilled, I need both the job and my scored sofa accommodations to make it work. This is from 2020, so. To give them their space and myself a break from doom scrolling, I'd take a run by the lake in the mornings. This lake is bomb ass and draws scuba divers to the flooded town at the bottom. Today, I was in my own head running when a dark mass floated to the surface 40 feet away. I was on the craggy side of the lake and this dude looked dead. D-E-A-D, dead. Facing away from me, his head was tipped back, eyes closed, bobbing like a fishing lure. No one else was around, so I thought he was quantum crazy out here scuba diving alone at the crack ass of dawn, giving himself the bends or some nonsense. Like a jackass, I didn't yell at him to check in. Instead, I towed off my shoes and stripped to my skivvies to save the imbecile. The movie trailer in my head had me taking 3 glorious steps and launching into the deep blue water, Black Widow style. Instead, my tender feet hit the sharp rocks and I contorted under the pain like a slinky as I uncoordinatedly pitched myself into the water, doing a side flop. I was also wearing my contacts, so I swam hard in his direction with my eyes closed. When I opened them, he was dead-ass staring at me like I'd lost my ever-loving mind, so I blurted, "Are you okay?" He removed the regulator and incredulously said, "Yes." My brain blue-screened while I tread water. The lake felt infinitely deep. Before I could terrify myself by hearing the Jaws theme song, I turned to nope the hell out of there, yelling over my shoulder, "I thought you needed saving!" to explain my idiocy. As I pivoted, another dude cleared his throat from 30 feet away on the other side. I never heard a sound from him, so I freaked out, failing and belting an ear-wounding scream at him. Both asshats laughed as a few more heads surfaced around us. I was surrounded by divers, all wildly entertained by my ridiculous high-octane fuck-up. After pointing to me and the beach, the merman that was my original target cautiously swam toward me after I nodded and escorted me to the shore. The beach was much further than I had anticipated, so I was trying to low-key breathe, hiding my need to suck all of the O2 from the air. Also, the comedy of the situation consumed me, and I started to giggle. Finally, I joked, "Dude, you are lucky you weren't actually dying because it would have taken everything I have to drag your sorry ass this far." He chuckled before offering me a tow. Hell no, not gonna happen. Even if I had to dog paddle, I wouldn't openly accept that defeat. He quietly mocked me the rest of the way to the shore. I'm a secret sap for it. They were cadets or recent graduates from military college here for the summer. They've been training in pools and were doing some open water exercises. They had been out there at least part of the night. I'm sure I blew up whatever drill they were running. He's training for pre-dive school, and since I am an expert Googler, I'm guessing that means combat diving. At the shore, I did my best to throw my shoulders back and march out of the water in my sports bra and undies in front of what I can only imagine are some pretty badass men. I did invite him and his clandestine crew for an absurdly overpriced beer at the bar tonight before shame jogging back into the woods for my clothes. Wow. So try to save a person, they ended up surrounded by a bunch of military men. What I love about this person is they really used the thesaurus for this post. They went back and...
They said good writing is describing.
Yeah, they're like, let me use really cute stuff for every single sentence.
Yeah.
Can I say something that might be an unpopular opinion?
Whoa, 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 all right.
That's on them, the guys. Is there any way to be like, this is a test? She was just being a good Samaritan. She saw someone floating like a dead body, and she was like, see something, say something.
Well, she didn't say something. She just
She swam something.
She just swam something.
No, I respect it though.
I'm like,
No,
do they
it's
have like a
respectable.
light or like, this is a drill?
That's fair. Yeah,
Like, what a scary thing.
that's true.
Is there an update? Did they go to the bar? Did she?
There is an update.
Oh,
Update my
let's
husband.
go.
I need Reddit sweaters that say update.
So, first, there's a comment. Such a fun meet cute story. I hope they get to be happy together, sell the movie rights, and make a ton of money. Someone else said, this is hilarious. I can just picture you swimming with your eyes closed towards them. Haha. Don't be too embarrassed. It probably made their morning. What do we think is going to happen? Do we think that this is going to actually end up in them dating, or is it just like an embarrassing story?
I think they went to the bar and it was chill and whatever.
Yeah.
Probably. He showed, holy shit, a little bit ago. Yes, I was as dorky as you would have imagined, and now I'm typing this from the bathroom like a dumbass again, but I feel like you people are on the ride with me. He's handsome and funny, and he smells great. Yes, I hugged him. I'm Southern. It's what we do, not the smelling, the hugging. He's nice and smart and keeps defending me from my jackass friends at the bar, who have almost called him merman to his face. I think he low-key liked that everyone knew who he was, but not sure how he'll feel about being a Reddit celebrity. I've learned a lot about him, but it wouldn't be fair to share without his permission. His whole crew did not come. Only one, and his bud immediately started flirting with my coworker. That's a good sign, I think. Holy shit, you'd think I'd never met up with a guy before. Also, my friend straight up asked him if he saw my dragonfly undies that look like penises with massive glow-in-the-dark turquoise blue balls. Only she used the Reddit version. Thanks for that nickname, Reddit. He's also been sharing some of the shit that he's been taking today from being saved. He has the same self-deprecating sense of humor as me. I think we are vibing. So that's all the updates for tonight. He's getting the rest of my attention. Keep sending me those good vibes and peace, people. No more updates.
No more?
No more updates, so I'm guessing she fumbled the bag after that.
Maybe they shared a lovely, beautiful night together, and then he went off to go swim more somewhere else.
Wild.
That's crazy.
She's crazy fun.
She's crazy. She is fun.
She's so funny. She was in the bathroom updating us, so she didn't give us a third update.
She wrote that whole update from the bathroom. Like that's crazy.
Sick. That's great.
That's like.
How would you feel though if you met up with like a similar type of story, just a silly meetup, and then you're at the bar talking to them, and you find out that they were like, oh, in the bathroom I was just updating the Reddit post about meeting you.
Dude, I
wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel.
Yeah.
It depends though. It's a pretty crazy story, so I'd be like, I get it. That's ripe Reddit material.
Yeah, she comes back and she's like, so what kind of diving are you in? I have to tell all these people who are asking. I mean,
I have to tell these thousands of people.
Whoa, that is wild. She's so cool to be like, come have drinks with me. Also, I wasn't trying to save your life. You look dead. And then just like, did you see my underwear? Also, what were dragonflies that look like a penis?
I don't know. A lot of stuff there.
Dude.
New merch just dropped. If you guys saw somebody floating in the water.
I would definitely be like, they're floating. They're floating and their faces above water. I would yell something first.
I would like try to get someone better than me. I'd be like, look, guys.
No, you're by yourself.
Look.
You're by yourself. She was jogging by herself.
If I was by myself, I'd go in.
But I would yell first, and if they didn't respond, then.
Dude, I don't know. Maybe I feel like I'd wait for a second. I'd watch, and I'd see if they like took them a little bit to move, and then I'd go. Be like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just confused. Didn't she say, maybe I'm misremembering, I thought she said like he was floating, like his face was above water.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, so he's breathing, like his face is above water.
If his face was above water.
He's also floating.
But he's just like.
Didn't she say he had a mask on? So like.
That's why I'm saying it's on him. He should have like a little flag that's like, don't worry, I'm alive.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm alive. That would suck if you actually died and you had that flag on you. Oh God, he looks super dead. No,
You have an
don't
asthma
worry.
attack?
He has the flag.
He got the
He's
flag.
alive. Okay, next story. This is an Am I the Asshole post.
Yay, we're home.
Am I the asshole for dropping our dinner on the ground and walking out when my boyfriend asked me, "What's for dinner tonight, bitch?"
Wait a second. Did one of my partners post this?
Jesus.
But I said like bitch. Like
Yeah, true. How many eyes were in the bitch? Right? Is it just one eye?
Oh, it's just one.
Oh, then that's not.
Oh yeah, that's not okay. That's not okay. You gotta have it like bitch.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. All right. Legend.
I was so. All right.
Everyone's like, Ian, stop. Shut your fucking mouth.
Ian, I'm not gonna buy
Sorry.
Smosh anymore.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
If
I'm
you
getting
keep this up.
dude. I'm getting zooted off this matcha latte.
Yeah.
So
Do you know how much caffeine is in that?
I was over my boyfriend's apartment this weekend, and I was cooking dinner because he was studying for exams. I made pasta and a chunky sauce with meatballs and veggies. I told him dinner was ready, and he goes, "What's for dinner tonight, bitch?" And it's in all caps. Bitch is in all caps.
Okay.
What's for dinner tonight, bitch?
Wait, what's the Smosh way that it would have been done?
be like, bitch. You have to have that bitch.
What's for dinner tonight? Bitch! Or that.
Yeah.
That's getting too like
With like a lot of emphasis on the last word.
Yeah.
I was fed up. I'd had a pretty rough day with work, and I have some awfully bad associations with that word being used by other people in my life who were pretty abusive. So I was so irritated that I dropped the pot of pasta sauce I'd been carrying right on the ground and was like, well, nothing's for dinner tonight now, and I better not hear you using that word again. It's for the girls. He was freaking out about how sauce had landed on his rug, and he even said, you're seriously acting like a bitch right now. I don't know what else to call it.
Whoa, okay.
There's some other shit going on.
Now
Wrong
I mentioned,
bitch.
I just walked out and got takeout for myself and went to my friend's house. She thought it was funny, but my boyfriend was furious. He kept texting and calling and sending me voice memos trying to explain that saying, what's for dinner tonight, bitch, was a TikTok trend, and that he was just quoting something as a joke to put on TikTok. I thought that was the shittiest excuse ever. It doesn't matter if he saw it as a joke or stole the joke, it was still disrespectful. But it didn't change the fact that he thought that shit was funny, to demean me when I was trying to do him a favor. Like hell, I came over when he was studying to make a home-cooked dinner, and he decides it's time for jokes, so I put my phone on Don't Disturb for the night and split a bottle of wine with my friend and her roommate. The next morning, he was sending me angry texts demanding I clean his rug because he was still too busy with exams to do it. I was shocked he left it overnight. That's disgusting.
The mess I made.
Yeah, I texted him back saying, yeah, so that's the bitch tax, honey. Leave me alone till you're ready to handle your own cooking and cleaning because this bitch isn't anymore. Also, it's vile you left that soaking in all night. He called me and told me that he was okay with doing his own household work, but I did throw a full pot of sauce at the ground, so that's on me to clean up. I told him, yeah, no, I'm not comfortable doing chores for you if you see me like your bitch. He told me he didn't, and it was just a trend, and I got pissed off he was playing that TikTok trend BS excuse again, and I told him, well, I'm starting a trend called saucing, where as a little joke, people throw pasta sauce around. You can't be mad because there's a little trend, a little jokey joke, it's a little prank, bro. He got really pissed off and hung up on me, and now I'm seriously wondering if this dumb f***ing TikTok joke is gonna be the end of things between us. Am I the asshole now? How I reacted when my boyfriend asked me what's for dinner tonight, bitch? Edit to address a comment I've gotten a lot, and I don't have time to reply every time. But did you tell him not to call you a bitch? Like, how would he know otherwise? Honestly, if someone has gotten to the age of 30 and not realized that women, as a whole, do not like having demeaning slurs used against them, they're beyond my help. This isn't something that needs to be told. I shouldn't have to go through life like, hey man, just in case you were thinking I might like demeaning slurs against my gender used on me, I don't actually. And if you're about to comment something like that, let me just tell you in no uncertain terms, women do not like being called bitches by men. Do not call women bitches. If you needed to be told that it is unkind, consider yourself officially told. Now you have no excuse to not understand.
Yeah.
I think it really hits. I mean, look, it doesn't matter what age he is, but when she's like, yeah, he's 30 years old, I'm like, yeah. A TikTok trend, like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, from looking at this one event in a vacuum, like, I'm sure some people could see that and be like, she overreacted. But I guarantee, like, with the way that he talked to her, I'm sure that he's talked in similar ways to her and she's communicated to him that she doesn't appreciate that.
Yeah.
And he's probably ignored it and goes, oh, it's a funny TikTok trend, which is like, what a bad excuse.
It's a bad excuse. The adding of the like, well, now you actually are acting like a bitch.
Yeah, that really sealed
okay,
it.
that sealed it of
yeah.
like, you probably do talk disrespectfully to her.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be one thing if they joked around together and it was like
Totally.
established that they call each other that kind of thing, but
Right.
I mean, clearly it completely caught her off guard because this was something that was hard set in stone for her of like, this is not a line that you cross.
Yeah.
So it feels like he should have, I mean, it doesn't say how long they've been together, but it feels like they probably should have, he probably knew.
He probably did know.
You got to test those waters before you bring out the big guns. You know, and that word is one of the big guns. So you gotta make sure that your partner is like chill with that.
But I
kind of
agree.
language.
Like relationships, people in relationships, they gauge like what are we comfortable with joking about and stuff.
Yeah.
And he said a joke that clearly offended her.
Oh, yeah.
That he as we are either assuming or we don't know for sure that it's like there's clearly been stuff before this, and he's not taking her feelings into account.
And a lot of times people joke and use that kind of word with each other because they know, like it's so established that they would never actually mean that, or it's almost funny because they would never say that.
Sure.
But the fact that he's saying it and she feels like he meant it means that there's other stuff that's there.
There's a lot going on,
Yeah.
and what I can't get over is that he did leave the sauce.
He's like, that's for you to clean up. You did that.
Well, yeah, and the fact that he's angry about it.
Yeah.
That he's like, the fact that he got that this happened and his response is anger rather than like apologizing and trying to fix things and just getting angry and sending angry text messages. It's like I think there's a bit of history here.
Yeah, I feel like it could have been like immediately, I did not know that was going to offend you, and I'm so sorry. Let's make this right. But he doubled down and said, "You are acting like a bitch right now."
Icky.
No, that's where it's you. I mean, you lost me before, but like that's when it's like, all right, buddy, you're gone. Some comments here. Not the asshole. I Googled the trend, and it is all about seeing how women react to a knowingly offensive comment, and usually they are offended. These jokes aren't funny. Well, you reacted. He got his wish. Effed around and found out he needs to grow up. So he was also clearly filming her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
She did this.
Yeah,
she did mention
he
it.
said it was a trend, and
He wanted to get her reaction.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
So, well, you got
that's
it, bro.
so cringy. Not the asshole, and yes, this should be the end of you two. He sounds like a total asshole, and leaving that on the floor overnight is just nasty. Last comment here. Not the asshole, your gut response, shock and rage at him taking you for granted to the point of demeaning you was the right one from the beginning. Him leaving the mess overnight, expecting you to come back and clean it up just confirms it. He doesn't respect you. Yeah.
Yeah, and she probably felt extra disrespected because she probably didn't want to cook him dinner that night, and she was going out of her way.
Yeah,
for
she was
him.
helping him out.
Yeah.
He's like, this is gonna give me so much clout.
Yeah, it's gonna be so fun.
Bro.
Like, she's doing this favor for me, and I disrespect her.
Yeah, like, look, there's a lot of TikTok trends. A lot of them are totally cool and funny.
Wait,
and
so you're
fun.
telling me that there's sexist things on TikTok?
Yeah.
What?
Today I fucked up by donating $15,041 to a poor community in Bangladesh instead of the $150 donation I intended. Okay. This happened in February of last year, but my friends have been telling me I need to post this online. So here goes nothing. My wife and I, both 31 years old at the time, moved into a new 3-unit apartment building in San Francisco. One of our neighbors is a 70-something-year-old retired veteran. We'll call him Joe. For context, Joe is a white American guy, and he's also a devout Hindu priest. One day I run into Joe in the hallway, and he tells me about this charity he manages for a community in Bangladesh. I wanted to support my neighbor and the charity, so I asked Joe to send me the GoFundMe link. The next day at work, I go on the GoFundMe page and donate $150. Or so I thought. Moments later, I get a text on my phone warning me of an unusually large transaction on my credit card. I'm confused and swipe to open the text message. It says I have made a payment of $15,041 to GoFundMe. Immediately, I'm sweating. How could I have donated $15,000? I spend the next 10 to 15 minutes retracing my steps, and finally I realize my credit card starts with the numbers 4 and 1. It seems I had accidentally started typing my credit card information while my cursor was still in the donation box. And just like 150 became 150.41. Yikes. I call GoFundMe's support line in a panic, and when I finally connect with a human, I explain what happened. No need to worry, he tells me. They will initiate a refund of the transaction, which should process in 3 to 7 business days. That's a huge relief. But then I ask the agent if the charity will be able to see the donation on the GoFundMe page until it is refunded. What do you mean? The agent asked me. What do you mean? What do I mean? Was my response. Will they be able to see the $15,041 donation? Unfortunately, yes, the agent tells me. They will be able to see it until the refund process is complete. I tell him that's a big problem, as the entire GoFundMe had hardly raised that much at that point. Surely they will notice their fundraiser doubling overnight. My plan was to knock on Joe's door the following morning to give him the full story, so that he could pass it along to his contacts in Bangladesh. But when I woke up the next morning, I looked at my phone and saw I had 40+ notifications on Facebook. Someone had sent me a friend request, had liked many of my old posts, and had sent me many messages. Immediately, I was concerned when I saw that the individual messaging me had a Hindu name. but I never could have imagined what I saw when I opened his first message. The man had sent me a video of himself from Bangladesh, surrounded by dozens. Hold on, this is so rough. Okay. The man had sent me a video of himself from Bangladesh, surrounded by dozens of impoverished and hungry people holding bags of food, thanking me by name, Michael, for my generous donation. A big round of applause for Michael. At this point, I've leapt out of my bed and I'm pacing. Part of me wants to scream, part of me wants to crack up laughing. I start swiping through the man's messages, and it is picture after picture after picture of poor Bangladeshis thanking me for my kind donation. Literally hundreds of photos of frail, elderly, disabled, and malnourished individuals holding signs with my name. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. I've uploaded a portion of the video and a few photos for you guys to see here. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because this is an insane situation to be stuck in. Okay. So,
oh my God.
So he sees the direct impact that this makes. Needless to say, I couldn't live with myself just donating $150 after seeing how the community responded to $15,041. I decided the least I could do was to add a zero, and so I donated $1,500 once the original donation was refunded. The charity's host was incredibly gracious and understanding, and he explained to me that $1,500 goes very far in Bangladesh for urgent food relief. Here is the charity's new GoFundMe link if you want to check it out. Ultimately, I think the whole experience was a win-win. I helped a great cause, and I got a funny story out of it. Okay, so to recap, he got it refunded, but then he donated $1,500.
Okay.
But
I don't know. I feel like I would have to find a way to get the 15,000 and just eat it. Just eat it. Because
I don't know. The problem is I don't know this guy's financial situation.
No, right, exactly.
I mean, he's got 15,000 to deposit.
He's got 15,000.
No, that could have been like, I mean, I get it, but like.
It could have been everything. If that was everything, it's like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can't
I
take
think
it
I would ask friends and family and just eat it.
Some comments here. Best post on here in ages. Thank you for the great story and for helping out those folks. $1,500 is still very generous. Man, this got me good. I hope you didn't get behind on bills or anything after this mix-up. I will say, the fact that his original intention was $150.
Which is still a great donation.
So he still times that by 10 and like, you know,
Yeah,
it's still
yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah.
Someone said, holy shit, man, that put a pit in my stomach just reading. I can't imagine how you felt. LOL. Shit happens. Glad your neighbor was understanding and good for you for going the extra mile. Watch this post blow up and a shit ton of Redditors donate. That would be awesome.
Yes.
Someone else said, oh man, what a ride. I'd feel horrible. I hope Reddit comes through and helps. I'll throw in a few bucks and maybe others will too. There's a GoFundMe link. We can see.
Oh my God.
So he posted
it's like surpassed.
He posted it to Reddit and this went viral. So okay. So they're at 93K raised of a 108K goal. So.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Wait, that's amazing.
Not gonna cry. Not gonna cry.
Seriously. What a wonderful, wonderful thing that this like hilarious story
It actually
has
ended
brought.
up being better that this all happened and he posted it. And
What? Gonna cry.
Stop.
I'm not gonna cry.
Stop. Stop. We're talking about assholes.
I had to look away, like seeing the photo and everything. I'm like,
So sweet.
Yeah, the photos. And you know that they were not going to be upset if he was just like, crazy story, I had to refund it.
yeah.
They were
the
obviously
fact that they
going
were
to be
so
like, of
cool. They're like,
course.
oh man,
I love
it's
that they all have
good.
a thing. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. It's you know that sounds like a plot line for The Office. Like Michael Scott would accidentally do that and be like, I have to bring it back without while still being cool. So there's an update as of literally a couple weeks ago. Thanks for your kindness. Our ability to bring relief to others has multiplied many, many times. It is unbelievable. We've been struggling over the past several months, yet in the last 24 hours, over 1,800 donations have been received at GoFundMe, the largest single day in our history. We're astounded at the support we have seen, and this totally helps our effort. Kindly take a moment and share our campaign with friends, coworkers, and gentle souls. This will help us extend our reach to more people more often. As of right now, of reading this, it's not far off from their goal, but we'll post the link down below and check it out.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
That was super meaningful of that guy to think of putting the link in there as well.
I know,
of just
it really turned out well. And he, on Reddit, you don't know if someone's going to go viral or not.
So basically, it's almost like he did eat the money almost, but didn't have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It all, see what he should have thought of. Should have said all this. Posted, this all goes viral, tons of donations, and then he retracts it silently. For telling my coworker, I'm tired of hearing about her nerdy obsession. Okay, so here's someone else who's obsessed with stuff, I guess. So I have a coworker who's a woman who's 27 who is absolutely obsessed with Transformers. Yes, you read that right. She has a massive collection of action figures and frequently brings one or more of them to work to show off. She talks endlessly about the movies / cartoons / comics, video games to anyone who will stop long enough to listen. She writes a ridiculous amount of fanfic that she also has to talk about. Almost every vacation she takes revolves around going to a Transformers convention, etc. Most everyone else seems to think it's a fun personality quirk, or at least tolerates it, but it drives me bonkers because it's all she talks about. Like, get a life. Last month, a number of us were discussing things we missed the most that were gone / delayed due to the pandemic. Most people brought up visiting family, going to the movies, etc. Guess what this coworker missed the most? Yup, her conventions, which had all been canceled because apparently stuffing hundreds of nerds in a confined space isn't a good idea during a pandemic. I admit that I lost my shit at this point, and I told her, oh my God, will you just shut up? Nobody cares about your obsession. Find another hobby or just something else to talk about besides a stupid cartoon show and action figures. She clammed up and didn't speak to me for the rest of the day. Since then, I haven't heard her say a peep beyond work-related stuff, which is actually a relief. But other coworkers are saying I was the asshole for telling her to shut up, and that they actually miss her ramblings about fictional robots. One of them even says I'm lucky this coworker didn't report me to HR. I don't think that what I said was HR worthy. If anything, I think I did everyone a favor by getting her to stop talking their ears off about something only she cares about. But I'm wondering if I could have worded it better.
I'm wondering if I could have worded it better.
I'm wondering if I could have told her to shut up in a better way.
Yeah.
And that coworker? Michael Bay.
Like, they're all like, hey, what did you miss? And then, yeah, this is what I missed. She answered the question. You answered the question.
Hey, what did you miss about the pandemic? Probably my conventions. Oh, well, you shut up! Damn, that's so, it's definitely weird to hear, because in this field and being in YouTube, everyone has a nerdy obsession like this. Like, at Smosh, almost everyone is obsessed with something similar, in the similar vein. I mean, we have people over at Smosh Games who are building Gundams, and I think that's awesome. So, I don't know. I can't imagine being upset about this.
Have you ever sat down and listened to someone who's really into the stats of basketball or baseball or knows all the players?
My brother,
and they're talking yeah, it's honestly, Transformers makes a little bit more sense sometimes. Really, if you're telling me Todd McAvow is getting traded for Tracy Evers, and I'm just going from the Broncos over to the Colts, I'm what do you mean?
Yeah, that'd be crazy if someone was talking about how Broncos were the second-ranked defense last year, but because their offense was number 32, that
My eyes are glossing over it. I have been to a Transformers convention.
Yeah?
Oh, of course.
Was it cool?
It's fascinating because it was definitely it wasn't even about the show so much. It was about the toys.
Yeah.
And the collectors and all that. And I don't think I've ever been to an event that was this closely related to the black market, because the obsession with how to get these toys, who has what, how much you're gonna pay for it, all of that, very much I'm is this legal?
How much was the most expensive Transformer that you saw?
Oh God, they had a Unicron in a box that was literally, when these guys were describing it to me, they were describing it using my proportions to describe how big it was.
Okay.
How many U's was the Unicron? Is that what it's called? The unicorn?
They called it the Unicron. I could be getting that wrong. Don't.
To me, that sounds like unicorn, but said wrong.
Okay,
so
so the Unicron, how much do you think it was worth?
the number there I heard was $3,000 for like a big Unicron. But like it was like people would walk up to tables and be like, okay, I'm looking for this, this, and this. Do you have this? No, and then would like move on. I was like, this is crazy.
Wow.
I love it.
So he is the asshole.
Oh,
I'm not talking. He is the asshole.
This person's an asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, someone's allowed to, people are allowed to be obsessed with whatever they want to be obsessed with. And they're allowed to talk about it. If you're not interested, just be like, I got work to do. I'm sorry, I gotta go. That's also okay.
Yeah.
Don't tell someone to stop talking about what they're into.
Yeah.
You know?
The coworkers got a good point. They were like, honestly, we kind of miss it. Like, what are we gonna talk about all day? Like bank stuff? Like, bro, you took away my only joy.
Hey, Stacy. Yeah. Tell me about Megatron. Really? Yeah, I want to hear about Megatron again. Got comments here. Yeah, you're the asshole. I get it's weird, but it's what she's passionate about. I feel the same way when people won't shut up about sports. You're the asshole for how you talk to her. You could just say she's obsessed with Transformers. Instead, you write in an insulting manner and judge her over an interest. I get being irritated hearing about it, but the way you write about her, even just in this post, makes you the asshole. And someone else said, you're the asshole and a condescending one at that. Why are you letting her hobby bother you so much? Yeah, a person's obsession is no different than yours. And just because it's deemed nerdy or deemed like, every hobby you could boil down to being like, well, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Every hobby.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point of a hobby, though. It's like it's something fun that you do, that you like, that you enjoy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There is an update.
Ooh.
But the verdict was asshole.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool.
Seems hardcore.
Good.
Huge asshole.
Good.
You're also going to the internet trying to like get everyone to get on board being like, yeah, I judge this person for a nerdy thing. It's like,
Yeah.
you're
The
talking
place
to-
everyone goes to like
talking
share
to
about their
Reddit. Like,
obsessions.
yeah. What do you
The
think
nerdiest corner. Yeah.
Yes.
Edit. Okay, I get it. I'm a piece of shit. Please stop messaging me telling me so. Update for those who care. I'm getting shunned and hated on enough at work that I'm currently looking for another job. I tried apologizing to my coworker and she gave an it's okay, but still refuses to talk to me. She's back to talking about robots again though, so I think she'll be okay. I will try to be more accepting of people's interests from here on out, even if it's too little too late for my current workplace.
I would also never speak to you again if you blew up at me, like while we're having like a conversation, then all of a sudden it's like, actually, can you shut the f up?
I think the way she remedies this is if she bought her like a $3,000 Unicron.
Yeah.
It needs a unicorn.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something that can only solve via money. Like that's the only way to solve it.
You know, if you asked her, she'd probably be like, no, he's not that big of an asshole. He's a fucking Decepticon.
He's a Decepticon. I don't think my boss knows that I know there's a camera in my office. Oh my god.
Oh God.
Holy shit. Wow.
Wait, was this posted from Smosh? Was this posted from a Smosh employee?
Luckily,
Did they?
we don't have.
Did they find out? Did they
I
find
will
out?
say, I do want a fun little. Oh, this happened, recently.
Oh yeah.
I over the course of a month, I slowly hid fake bananas in Ian's office.
Yeah.
I would tape them underneath things. I would hide them, stash them in his couch. There was close to about 30 bananas in his office, and they were in there for days, and he had no idea.
That's actually why I wanted to buy Smosh again, is because I wanted to own those bananas.
Yeah, specifically
Yeah.
just the bananas.
Well, they're back in my office again.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad we own 30
Fake
very,
bananas.
very. Okay, they're fake.
They're like styrofoam.
Yeah.
The ones that are like in like.
Yeah. They'll last forever.
They'll be good forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, forever.
And they're an investment.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start because I'm not even sure if this is weird or not. It's weird.
It's already weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I started at this new job not long ago, and since the first day, I've known there was a camera in my office. I don't think it's necessarily weird to have cameras in an office setting. There's cameras in all sorts of places for all kinds of reasons, but the camera in my office isn't any sort of built-in fixture. And my individual office room is the only office with a camera in it. On my first day of the job, I realized my boss was too aware of my actions. He said something to me that threw me off, and I knew he wouldn't have brought it up unless he had been watching me do something. It was just too coincidental. But it was casual at the same time, so it wasn't a direct allusion to the camera he has. But immediately after the incident, I scanned around the room, and I found a camera nestled into a cubby with a small wire that led into his adjacent office.
Bro.
My other boss has also indirectly responded to my actions in the group chat. The few times I had spent an excessive amount of time on my phone were times that the Hey guys, let me know if you guys need anything to work on. I know things are slow, messages would trickle in. Anything that seemed to hint at me being watched was also said or done ambiguously enough that they weren't revealing anything about being able to see me, as if I'm not supposed to know I'm being watched, and that's what is unsettling to me. The camera is pointed directly at me, not the door, not the front of my desk, not anywhere else that would make sense for security. I've looked at everyone else's office and didn't see a single camera. The camera is pointed specifically at me, and I don't even deal with money or anything that could be stolen. I don't know if I should bring this up. I'm not entirely mad, and I guess I understand the reasoning, like making sure I'm on task or some shit. It just bothers me a little that I can be watched whenever, and they never even disclose that. I feel like someone being constantly monitored has the right to know that they are, especially since I'm the only one being watched like this. I at least used it to my advantage because I at least know not to be on my phone, LOL. So in the comments, we can glean that she states that she is a 22-year-old woman.
Yep.
If we feel that's important.
Yeah, I was a little curious about if it was a woman.
Yeah.
I have a favorite part about all this.
Yeah.
Just how much time are these people spending watching her do nothing and complaining about her doing nothing?
That's management, baby. That's what being a manager is all about. You just watch other people work.
Or not work.
I am kind of surprised at her reaction.
Yeah,
like how chill she is.
I'm actually
She's
like,
being
I'm actually kind
extremely
of
chill.
disappointed.
I would just be like, turn the camera away.
Yeah, first
I would turn the camera away and then see if it gets moved back.
Yeah.
See if anyone says anything.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, you didn't disclose that. That is illegal.
Yeah.
If I moved it and I saw it get moved back, I would then go to HR.
Yeah,
I'd be like, hey, there's a camera in my office.
Yeah.
I moved it away. It keeps me getting moved back. That's illegal. It is illegal.
I wonder if it's like a trial that they run on like new employees. Like,
should still be disclosed.
But it's disclosed.
I
disclose
agree.
it.
Either way, it's gross. Like, and I think a lot of companies nowadays are obsessed with productivity and efficiency, and especially in the time of like remote work, I've heard of like companies like installing software on computers that will like track the person's productivity, which is crazy because like I think humans have always been as productive as ever, but now we have technology to hold people to account. So it's like even like back in the day, you know, like maybe in the 50s when corporate office jobs were just starting, I'm sure people weren't working, you know, nonstop from sitting down in their chair to leaving home.
Right.
Yeah.
And now there's this expectation of like that's what it needs to be, and you have to always be working. And now we have technology to hold you to that account. It's like it's scary.
It's weird. I also think creating a environment of distrust is not going to create trust.
Yeah.
Amongst your employees and everything.
And I think the best way for people to feel motivated to work is when they feel trusted, when they feel respected, when they feel like they can work at a pace that works for them as long as they get the work done, you know, that kind of thing. But to say you need to always be working 100% of the time and I'm gonna watch you to make sure.
It's weird. And I also feel like how you monitor production is just like, hey, did you do your job? You did it.
Yeah.
I don't care when you did it, how you did it, like you did it. Like we can see what needs to be done.
And if your job is to be the one to like make sure that somebody else is pulling the lever, then that's a bullshit job.
Yeah, you're the one without the job if you're sitting there just watching someone
they're
else.
justifying their job by saying, I'm monitoring the people.
And this is us having the best assumption of why they have
We are being very charitable here.
We're being extremely charitable
we haven't,
here.
I mean, we haven't even like brushed the, you know, the fact that she's like a 22-year-old woman.
And it could be just a completely creepy, awful reason. The tough thing legally also is that we're in California. The laws are a certain way here. The laws are different per state, different per country. So I know audio, you can't, it's two-party consent. So they can't record the audio. This is similar laws to us here in California. But video, I guess, it might be legal. I don't know, but if that needs to be disclosed or not is the question.
It still provides so much, or it still brings so much distrust.
Oh my God, it's still stupid as hell.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's just so disappointing, like hearing how okay with it this person is, and I think that kind of gives you an idea of like where we are. Right now. Like people are like, no, it's fine.
I know. I feel like if people just drew a hard line about that, I'm just like, no, never gonna work in a situation like that.
Yeah.
But I also know people, like they get a job, they're like, I need this job.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
So I have some comments here. Anytime you are finished with a task and waiting for another one, spend excessive amounts of time staring into the camera. Someone else said, yes, and don't blink at all. Just stare vacantly, directly into the camera. Someone else said, is this your office? Place a nice plant/object in the way of the camera to decorate. If the decoration is moved, ask why. Someone else said, put a hardcover copy of 1984.
No, you know what would be epic is if you took a picture of yourself from that vantage point, printed it out, and then put it in front of the
Oh, that's a super smart move.
Or you get a looping video.
Yeah.
Of you just working. Always productive.
I thought you were going to say to put a copy of Goatsy in front of it.
Oh.
And then put Goatsy in front of it, and then wait, and all of a sudden you hear from the next office, you just hear, oh my God!
and they can't complain, or else they have to admit it, right?
He walks over, vomit on his shirt.
He's like, you seem pretty busy spreading your asshole. Sorry.
All right, so there's an update here. Oh, God, I wonder what's going to happen. I wasn't expecting so many responses. I genuinely appreciate how concerned everyone is about whether or not I'm okay. It makes me feel good knowing a lot of people care about a stranger's well-being. I've seen a lot of comments asking for an update, so this is really the most I have of one. Nothing has changed yet. I haven't brought it up to them because part of me is wondering if they'll eventually remove it. I was curious to see if they would ever bring it up themselves or if I could find a way to hint at the fact that I know. I sort of want them to stay unaware that I know so I can see how they act in response to my actions, to potentially call it out in the future. The top comment is pretty funny about staring into the camera. There were a few times where something ridiculous would happen with something and I'd stare into the camera for a moment as if I was breaking the fourth wall. LMAO.
Like, what did
Jim from The Office?
The Truman Show? Is that what they think this is?
I don't think I'm going to bring it up just yet. I actually really like working here. I get along with my coworkers, and they pay me decently for what I do. For everyone asking, yes, I'm a woman. I don't think this is as much of a sexual harassment case as it is just a micromanaging thing. They haven't done or said anything to me to make me feel like they were hitting on me, just genuine politeness. My guess for the camera is that they're maybe testing my integrity and seeing how much time I spend on my phone, even out of view of other people. Which I could understand, but wow, I wish there was another way besides a camera on me. There's been a few other micromanagey things that have irked me a little, but I still like my bosses in spite of that. If something changes, like if I start getting the vibe that this is becoming creepy, I'll keep you guys updated. Oh, and also a few things I wanted to mention that a lot of people had ideas about. You guys had good ideas, by the way. Due to where it's at, it would be really hard to cover the camera with anything. I can't exactly reach it, so I'd have to find something like maybe a wide shelf that would block view from underneath it. The wire runs into my boss's office. You can't see the wire from mine, so I'd have to take a pic of it from inside his office, so I don't know if I'm able to evidence collect too easily. I'm also trying to be a bit vague with details because I got a little paranoid about the idea of my bosses somehow coming across this thread. Anyways, I appreciate you guys, and I'm sorry I don't have more thrilling update. I'll let you know if anything changes. This camera must be in a very obvious place, I feel like.
And high up.
It must be, if it's really out in the open and just there, then it's like, okay, they're not trying to hide it.
So weird to not say anything about it.
It's so weird.
It sounds like at this point she's just curious to know what happens. She's
so chill, man. She's like,
time to go see that camera.
They're watching my every move.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Boop, 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 boop.
She kind of gave some details in the comments of what the camera looks like. It's like rectangular, sorta, longer vertically than it is horizontally. The lens doesn't poke outward. It's flush with the rest of the body, so from first glance, it could be mistaken as a speaker. I can't reach high enough to put something to cover it, and it's an abnormal place to decorate, so it'd be obvious I was trying to cover it.
It seems crazy to me to even try to cover it. Like,
yeah.
Like, if she likes the job and the people are reasonable, I think it's okay to just ask. Like, what is that camera doing there?
She could even play dumb if she's like not sure it's a camera. If it's like, oh, it looks like a speaker, just be like, I was just so curious, what is that?
Yeah.
and then be like, oh, I don't.
It is. It is strange though, because I feel like the moment, I don't know if it's because I'm a guy or it's different because of any other reasons, but I'd immediately be like, is that a camera in my office? I feel like I would just ask right away.
Today I fucked up by enraging the parents of my girlfriend by pretending not to know what a potato is. Let me tell you that I have made a bad mistake this evening. My girlfriend, who let me tell you is only my second girlfriend of all time, said I am invited to dinner with her and her parents. I was very aghast, nervous, and bashful to be invited to such a situation, but I knew it must be done. I met them nicely, I should tell you, and it started off in a good way. The idea slapped in my mind that I should do a comic bit to make a good impression and become known to them as a person who is amusing. When I saw that baked potatoes were served, I got the idea that it would be very good if I pretended I did not know what potatoes were. That'd be funny. Well, let me tell you, backfired on my face. I'll tell you how. So first, when the potato came to my plate, I acted very interested. I showed an expression on my face so as to seem that I was confused, astounded, but in a restrained way, curious and interested. They did notice and seemed confused, but did not remark. So I asked, "This looks very interesting. What is this?" They stared at me, and the mother said, "It's a baked potato." And I was saying, "Oh, interesting, baked, what is it again?" And she was like, "A potato." And I was like, "A potato? Oh, interesting. Never heard of a potato. Looks pretty good." And then they didn't see I was clowning, but thought I really did not know what a potato is. So I knew I'd be very shamed, humiliated, depressed, and disgusted if I admitted to making a bad joke. So what I did was to act as if it was not a joke, but I committed to the act of pretending I didn't know what a potato is. They asked me, very incredulous, did I really not know what a potato is? That I'd never heard of a potato? I went with it and told them, yes, I did not ever even hear of a potato. Not only had I never eaten a potato, I had never heard the word potato. This went on for a bit, and my girlfriend was acting very confused and embarrassed by my up antics. And then the more insistent I was about not knowing what a potato is was when their parents started thinking I did know what a potato was. Well, let me tell you, I had to commit 100% at this point. When I would not admit to knowing what a potato was, the father especially began to get annoyed. At one point, he said something like, "Enough is enough. You're f***ing with us. Admit it." And I said, "Sir, before today, I had never heard of a potato. I still don't know what a potato is, other than some kind of food. I don't know what to tell you." Well, let me tell you, he got very annoyed. I decided to take a bite of the potato, and when I did, I made a high-pitched noise and said, "Tastes very strange." That is when the father started yelling at me, and the mother kept saying, "What are you doing?" And my girlfriend went to some other room. Finally, the father said I should get the out of his house. And I said it was irrational to treat me like this just because I'd never heard of a potato before. Well, let me tell you, he didn't take that kindly. Now in text messages, I have been telling my girlfriend I really don't know what a potato is. The only way I can ever get out of this is for them to buy that I don't know what a potato is. I wish I'd never started it, but I can't go back. I think she'll break up with me anyway.
Oh my God.
I love this.
This is a I think you should leave sketch.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't know what a potato is.
Actually is.
Tastes very strange.
Tastes very strange.
Get the out.
Get the response is also like,
Because
get the out of my house.
And then the girlfriend just goes to another room. She's like,
Crying.
But I actually totally understand why he had to commit. Because it was too, he couldn't at the end of the day be like, yeah, I was just with you. They would have been like, great, go home.
Yeah.
He had to commit so hard and be like, wow, you're going to throw me out because I don't know what a potato is? Like, I love this person.
I love him too.
Such
a funny bit. Like my parents would have loved that bit if they were like, "You don't know what a potato is?"
Oh,
you're just
well,
joking.
to be fair, also, this is something you would do.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like at some point, you would definitely do this, be like, I don't know what a
I've never heard of a potato. Inspired.
Why didn't the parents just go, okay, and just like let it be?
And then he would have been like, "You're right. I'm joking. Thanks for the laugh. Move on."
These parents suck.
It's the parents'
What's
fault.
the update?
There's no update.
Potatoes will forever
So
go
here's some
unknown.
comments. Invite your girlfriend to meet your parents. Have your father take her aside and ask if potatoes were served at the dinner with her parents. When she says yes, he looks alarmed, mutters something about wanting to keep them from him, and never mentions the subject again.
Wait, that's brilliant.
It's so funny. When confronted about this horrible joke, insist it never happened with the same level of commitment. Maybe they will just think you have a brain disorder.
No.
Someone else said, send them a bouquet of potatoes as an apology. Now, this story's been widely considered fake. Even if it's fake, it's an incredible sketch. I love this.
Yeah.
Like,
It doesn't feel fake to me, though.
Even if it's fake, I don't mind if things are fake if it's very silly and stupid.
Yes.
Where I care if it's fake is if they're saying something like very serious and intense. And I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, don't make fake stories
Or
about that.
harmful. And I
this
love
is-
that he's committing, too, till the end.
I want to know where he is.
You should know the popular What's a Potato Reddit post story is 100% fake and lifted from the pilot of Andy Samberg's show Cuckoo. Oh, so this is a Andy Samberg sketch. Well, I love it. Holy shit. Okay. Sorry.
Click.
R true off my chest. My husband is cheating on me with my best friend. I'm honestly not sure where to start, so I guess I'll just start. My husband and I have been dating since I was 19 and he was 22. We've been married for 6 years now. We have 2 kids and I'm 6 months pregnant with our third. 2 years ago, I found out my dad has stage 3 colon cancer. My dad is my only parent as my mom passed away when I was 12. He's my favorite human and life without him doesn't seem as colorful. His laugh is contagious and he gives these big bear hugs that seem to make all of your broken pieces feel like they're perfectly in place again. Whenever I've had a hard day, he doesn't poke and prod and just lets me vent and listens. About 5 months ago, we discovered the treatment aren't working for him, and in direct quote of the doctor, he said, months, not years. Since then, he's gotten progressively worse and now is losing memory. He looked at the dog he got for me on my 21st birthday and said, wow, that's a nice dog. Where'd you get it? My husband has been my absolute rock. He has been there for me, holding my hand and helping me through this. He's been so loving and attentive to both my kids and I. Don't get me wrong, I'm a mother first always. I don't allow myself to wallow. My kids are still loved, cared for, played with, and haven't let my load slack around the house. Once my dad got his updated prognosis, my husband encouraged me to quit my job. About a month later, we discovered we were pregnant again, and I still hadn't let go of my job. I kept holding out for some reason. After finding out I was pregnant again, he assured me it was still okay to quit my job, that honestly it would save us a small fortune on daycare costs anyways. So I did. I quit my job. My best friend and I have been friends since diapers. Her family is like my family and vice versa. My mom and her mom grew up together. We've always been solid, and right after my dad's appointment, when we found out he had so little time left, I drove straight to her house and she held me while I cried for hours. If there are soulmates in friend form, she was mine. Thick as thieves is what my mom used to say. This morning as I was up with my 3-year-old, he's sick, my husband's work alarm was going off. He has a few he sets, so I turned that one off and gently woke him up. He said he was up late working, so he took the morning off, rolled over and went back to sleep. As I went to turn off the reminder of his alarms, I saw a text from my friend on his lock screen that said, I'm assuming since there hasn't been an angry pregnant lady on my doorstep, you haven't told her about us yet. Time froze in that moment. I took his phone and walked away and just read their conversations. 4 months this man has been fucking my best friend. 4 months these people have been lying to my face. And I know what you're going to say. You should have seen the warning signs. But I've been clutching this phone in my hand for 2 hours and nothing. He has been so loving and attentive to me, but he always has been. So kind and gentle. There have been no late night work nights except for once in a blue moon. There has been no lingering touches between them or even glances. They act as they have since the day I first introduced them. How sick is that? She calls him her brother, but she screws him. I know so many people get a moment of clarity in situations like this, but I have none. Aside from being sad about my dad, I haven't changed. I'm still a loving wife and mother. I still doted on him and my children. I talk to him about how he is doing and how was his day every freaking day. I haven't allowed the ground to swallow me whole. I know what I have to do now, but I just don't want to. I'm about to lose my family and my support system in one blow. I'll confront him tomorrow. Today, I just need this last 24 hours of peace. As for her, I won't give her the satisfaction of a response. I don't care why she did it. She did it and it's done. I was always the friend who cleaned up her messes. After today, I will cut her out of my life like she never mattered at all. This has to be the hardest storm I'll ever weather, but damn it, I know I'll sail through it. If not for me, for my children.
That just took 5 years off my life.
Oh, holy crap.
So much loss.
I mean, that's gotta be one of the roughest ones we've read on here. Everything happened to her. Absolutely everything.
is happening to
like
her.
is happening to her. Yes. This was yesterday. This is happening right now. I think what always hits me is that I'm often thinking like this happened like months ago or like years ago. They're in a different place now. This is happening to this woman right now.
She told him today. According to her, so she
I know
told
what I
him
have to do
today.
now.
Conversation did it happen today?
Today I just need this last 24 hours of peace. So yeah, right now.
They could be talking right now.
Right now.
Like literally right now.
Comments. Screenshot and save those messages before he could delete them. She said, I did. I emailed everything to myself in an old email I haven't used since high school and don't keep saved in my apps. That way, if he goes through my phone, he doesn't find it. I'm not a very good liar or good at keeping a poker face, but since he woke up, I've just been using the excuse that I'm upset about my dad and just need space. He bought it. I called around for a couple of lawyers and found one before he woke up. So I've been emailing them back and forth for the last half an hour.
Oh my God.
I hope you have a separate bank account with your own emergency fund stashed. If not, please use the time now to create one and put some funds there that he doesn't have access to. This goes for credit cards too if yours are only connected to joint accounts. She said, thankfully we signed a prenup and I've always been a very big saver, where he's always been a huge spender. So when I got my inheritance at 24 from my mom, I never touched it and it's just been growing interest he doesn't know about. I'll also be getting my childhood home when my dad goes, which I hope it's not for a while, but I know the kids and I can move in at any point and he'd welcome us with open arms. Update. Last night. She updated last night. Oh, God. A small
Oh my God.
A small update about everything going on since my kids are now in bed for the night. I spent the morning gathering everything I could and making a checklist. I sat in my office for the better part of the morning telling my husband that I was preparing things for my dad. Not a total lie. I did have to get him sorted with hospice today. My boss would be happy to have me back. However, my lawyer said pump the brakes on that idea for the time being. However, my old boss did tell me that whenever I'm ready, the door is open and to just give her a call. He does not have access to my inheritance from my father nor my mother. My lawyer assured me in that. I didn't mention her in the post, but my mother-in-law is an absolute angel. I love and adore her so much, and she's always been a shoulder to lean on. After he had gone to work for the afternoon, I asked my now ex-best friend's mom and my mother-in-law to meet me at my dad's house. My kids were outside playing with my now ex-best friend's older brother. I just handed them the screenshots, saving them from the unsavory pictures and sex tape. Though I did tell them it existed. Oh, that is To say they were furious was an understatement, and they are on my side completely. Angie, my now ex-best friend's mom, is ready to cut contact with her daughter completely. She kept repeating, yeah, people hanging out instead of like, oh my God. She kept repeating how sorry she was. We hugged and cried together. My mother-in-law told me she couldn't believe she raised a spineless, terrible human. That no matter what happens, I will always have her, and as far as she's concerned, she doesn't have a son, only a daughter. After an in-person meeting with my lawyer, we went over finances, logistics, and everything you could think of. She has all the proof, and she's out for blood. With this post now on TikTok, I don't want him to find out by an app because one look at the story and he'd know it was about him. With permission from my lawyer, my ex-best friend, her mom and dad, my soon-to-be ex, and his parents will be having a get-together tomorrow. By the time they're sitting down and showing them everything that I know, my dad, my kids, and my ex-best friend's brother, he's coming to help me juggle the kids and my dad, being big and pregnant doesn't help with mobility, will be at my dad's cabin a few hours away, enjoying time and space. I know a lot of people were hoping for me to get revenge or do psychological warfare, but But honestly, after my kids went to bed, I took a shower and just broke. I don't have the strength or energy to dish anything out. I just want out. Pretending like everything was okay today was too exhausting, and I just don't want to do it. Once he finds out tomorrow, I'll update with the aftermath. As I'm sure it will be huge. As for now, thank you all so much for your kindness, warmth, and support. Truly, your words have helped me give me strength to keep my head above water. I appreciate every single last one of you for everything.
Holy
Why
crap.
couldn't we film this tomorrow so that we'd have the update?
Update.
God's plan.
Uh,
Plan.
Yo!
Let's
I'm
go.
sweating.
Oh my God.
Before we walked into here, Kiana was like, an update just dropped.
Done.
So this update hit right as we started filming.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So this is happening right now. Everybody shut up!
Be quiet.
We are essentially live streaming.
You better
through the
read
Am
this
I the Asshole?
nicely.
Okay, I have no idea what's about to happen.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm here with much awaited update. For my typing's sake, I'm going to give everyone fake names, so for context. Mother-in-law and father-in-law, Ruth and Joe. Ex-best friend's parents, Angie and Bob. This is like a play. Ex-best friend, Jess. Soon-to-be ex, Tyler. Ex-best friend's brother, Jake. And I'll just refer to my dad as Dad. I have a few things I wanted to get through, so I'll just summarize as best I can, and if you have any questions, I'll answer in the comments. To get this out of the way, because to me it feels important, yesterday I scheduled a same-day appointment with my OBGYN and got tested for just about every STD, STI out there. I got results back and they were all negative. There's a few that take up to 2 weeks to get the results back for, so I'll be waiting on those. When I met with my lawyer, I brought everything on my end financially wise, including the wills from both my dad and my mom, and I managed to get my hands on his financial documents. He stores his in his office in a locked box. I also brought over everything we had set up financially for my children. While I'm not totally sure if it's everything, I'm pretty confident I got most of it. My lawyer was happy I managed to get my hands on that much. Ruth even handed over her will to me from both her and Bob to ensure I was taken care of in the divorce. My lawyer understands I am wanting a divorce immediately. However, she wants to make sure she is thorough and isn't missing any key info. So hopefully I'll have an actual divorce papers to give him in about 30 days. I'm not rushing her though. I'm letting the professional do her job. Now for the sit down. I asked Angie and Ruth to describe everything in detail on what happened. Angie, the revenge seeker that she is, forced them to sit through a slideshow she put together of all the texts. Holy shit. I know a lot of you were concerned about one of them telling them sooner than later, but they were so secretive they didn't even tell their significant others about what was happening. Once the slideshow ended, Tyler tried lunging for Jess and Joe actually had to force him to sit down. Tyler was shouting profanities at Jess and telling her she will regret this. Jess started crying and begging her parents for forgiveness. Bob looked at his daughter in the eye and told her he will never forgive her for this. Blood or not, she is no daughter of his. He didn't raise his daughter to be this person. Jess has always been a daddy's girl, so I think that cut her pretty deep. Jess is in the middle of a divorce herself, and her parents were giving her money for her lawyer, and they told her she is cut off from them both financially and physically. Tyler's dad was irate. According to Ruth, he looked like he was holding back on throttling him. From there, Tyler went straight home. I know because we have a Ring doorbell camera along with a few cameras in the house for our kids to keep an eye on them when we aren't right next to them. Tyler came home and saw that most of mine and the kids' stuff was gone and he lost it. Started yelling and throwing things. The house is now trashed with a few holes in the walls for decoration. When he didn't find us there, he went to my dad's. Well, I did spend most of the day, he was at work packing and moving things into my dad's house. We were already at his cabin. Tyler took a baseball bat to my dad's door, trying and failing to break it down. My dad's neighbor actually called the cops on him, and he was arrested. His parents refused to bail him out. I had an appointment with my... This is fucking insane!
What? Oh my God!
Someone's on the toilet right now like, oh! Is that you? I had an appointment with my therapist today. I've had one for a year now since I was struggling with my dad, and it felt good just to cry it out and let everything out about how I was feeling. The therapist was like, "Oh!" It was very helpful, and she gave me a few tools to work through my emotions with this one. I felt very grounded and empowered leaving my session today.
The tool is just a gun.
Here's the tool, a sword. I'm also planning on setting up my children with a therapist when we get back from the cabin to figure out the best way to deal with telling them. I know people said I shouldn't, but I will be telling them, just in an age-appropriate way. I don't want there to be secrets and lies between us. I've always been as open and honest as I can with them. Again, in a most kid-appropriate way. Just because they're small humans, they're still humans and still deserve the truth. I had a handful of comments telling me I should stay and every man cheats. I should work things out because most of our marriage was good. I refuse to believe all men cheat. My parents were married for 20 years, and after my mom passed, my dad never moved on. I watched my dad love my mom for 12 of those years and cherish her. I will not accept anything less than that kind of love. He never cheated, nor did she. While I'm not sure when I'll be ready to move on, falling in love is absolutely the last thing on my mind at the moment. I refuse to let Tyler win and destroy love for me completely. I will move on from this. Jess started blowing up my phone, demanding I fix this situation, and immediately blaming me. My lawyer told me to not block texts just in case they spill out additional info I was missing. She was playing the poor me card very hard. The thing is, though, I never influenced Angie and Bob to cut contact with their daughter. They made that choice on their own. She actually started blaming me for stealing the love of her life. I introduced them when Tyler and I started dating, so not sure where that came from, and that Tyler is only with me for the kids. Honestly, I knew she was just trying to hurt me at that point. I didn't give her the satisfaction of responding, though. Between her and Tyler, I have about 200 missed calls.
Whoa.
Tyler went from begging and pleading me to forgive him. Like I said, I didn't have divorce papers to hand him, so he's stuck in this unknown gray area. I also asked Angie and Ruth to not say anything about the divorce to him yet. Purely just for my satisfaction, honestly. I know it's slightly petty, but keeping him in that gray area of not knowing is my small revenge to him. To threatening to call the cops on me for kidnapping, telling me Jess wasn't the only one. Bingo, just what I was looking for. To telling me I'm a stuck-up bitch, to threatening me, to back to begging me for forgiveness. Honestly, it was just a whiplash reading those texts. I'd be lying in saying if those texts didn't hurt me and terrify me all at once, but I refuse to let them break me. As for both of them together, I don't think he is going to stay with her. I think he blames her for blowing up our marriage, honestly. Who knows, though? They deserve each other. I was initially okay to do a 50-50 split with Tyler for custody, but after his reaction, I don't feel comfortable with that, so I'll likely be going for full custody. Jake has about 30 days of leave he's saved up, and he's going to be using them to help the kids and I get settled at my dad's house, and honestly to be there in case Tyler tries showing up going crazy again. He's been such a big help to the kids and I lately, and I'm forever in his debt for this. Last night after the kids went to bed, he hooked up his Xbox and we played a game called Diablo 4 together. I don't know why it's so funny. Have you played Diablo 4? To play Diablo 4 to help me take my mind off of things. It was fun. However, he did sort of confess that he's always had feelings for me somewhere in the midst of things, but also told me to not say or do anything back. He understands a relationship or anything like that isn't on my mind and won't be for a while. He isn't wrong, but just that he's felt that way since we were teenagers and just wanted to get it off his chest. Thank you again. Seriously, your comments, your support, your messages, all of it has been one giant breath of fresh air. Just knowing I had a whole online community willing to go to bat for me has kept me treading water these last couple days. Your comments have popped in my head when I felt like just giving up on leaving him because it's so hard and gave me so many great points and helpful advice. I know I deserve more and I can't accept his actions. And to the people who commented relating to my situation, my heart goes out to all of you. This pain is awful and I hate that so many of you can relate, but your stories have resonated deep within me. You all keep commenting me for my strength, and my personal favorite is telling me how proud of me you are. Every time I see those words, I start to tear up. I'm blaming the pregnancy hormones. Your words have helped put me at ease, so that way I could do what I knew I needed to do. So I'll leave this here for now. If anything of importance happens when I go back home, I'll update further. Thank you all, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Wow. The amount of goosebumps and chills I've gotten has caused my hair to grow an entire inch.
I just lived 4 lives.
That's happening right now. This isn't from months ago. This is right now.
That is so crazy. I am so happy for her, the support that she has gotten. Yeah. And like, it is so typical that the cheaters, of course, weren't expecting any kind of consequences like this. And the OP literally discovered all of this by such like an insensitive text. There's not an angry pregnant woman at my doorstep, so I'm assuming you haven't told her. What did they think was gonna happen? What did they think was going
That's what
to
I always
happen?
wonder with people in affairs. I'm like,
Yeah, they don't understand cause and effect. They don't understand the impact that they have because they're selfish people.
Yeah. And it's so sad that so many people are like, well, you should just stay. All men cheat. But like, I feel so bad for those people because they are really deserve better. All of those people deserve better. And she's gotten like the best case scenario out of all of this. And she's so strong.
yeah. Dude, she is strong as hell, because holy shit. In the midst of her also losing her dad. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That alone is like, you're strong for holding yourself together. And this?
Yeah.
Dude, she's gonna be made of titanium for the rest of her life.
She's a superhero.
Like,
This is as close as it gets.
People are gonna try to hurt her feelings. She's like, I want you to stop right there. Let me show you a Reddit story.
Yeah.
It makes me really happy, like, the way that both her exes and her ex-best friend's parents acted. Because, like, you hear some of these stories and, like, then the parents of the people who did the shitty thing side with their shitty child. And it's, like, because they just can't get it through their head that their child would ever do something wrong. And it makes me very, like, happy to hear that both sets of parents were like, what the fuck is wrong with our kids?
This was, honestly, this is kind of rare as far as the Reddit stories we've read here. Usually whenever someone like has like an asshole sibling or like an asshole like partner, parents a lot of times in these stories side with the shitty person.
Yeah.
And try to defend it and deny and just go, oh, it's okay, it's gonna be okay. This is a very unique response, and it's very cool to see. I mean, I'm so glad she does have a network of people who are supporting her, and damn, she got everything in line quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. That's so crazy to me that just like from the moment she saw the text, she was like, "This, like, I'm getting everything ready," so that like in 24 hours, it all blew up, and she was completely set and sorted with the lawyer.
She was also
gone.
She was so smart. She's handled it so wisely, and the friend is f***ed up by texting her a bunch of shit that she can then use for the lawyers.
Yeah.
It's like,
well,
dude.
and now her now ex was like, Jess wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and the fact, and also like, and then going and taking a baseball bat to a door and getting arrested. It's like, you guys just
Jesus
completely.
Christ. Also, Jess was getting divorced from her husband. So like, they were planning to end. Like, were they planning to go and be together?
Interesting.
Like,
yeah.
and then blaming OP for ruining her marriage is hilarious to me.
Oh, dude, that's so funny.
Blaming everyone else but themselves for they did the wrong thing.
Yeah, it scares me.
I have never. I'm like almost sweating from that.
I
one.
did sweat. I've
sweating,
sweated.
Yeah.
It scares me, but like, I don't.
It scares me because she said like, and I believe her, like that
Yeah.
her husband was a genuine, like loving and caring person and seemed like an amazing guy and that there were no signs. And that's what scares me, that like someone who presents as such a good person could be capable of something so incredibly shitty.
Asshole.